there's good reason to call it a field of dreams.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
Tonight in Lexington, dreams will come true on green grass and red earth marked in white. Fans will fill seats that have until now sat empty. With or without fancy name tags, sooner or later, the landing spot for a foul ball. Even though this game will be played under bright lights and TV cameras, it is the same game of hot summer days, dusty infields, and well-worn rules.
This ball game is Shea.
Oh, brother.
So the winning run is at second base with 2 out, 3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
It is one game on one field, but there are 2 different kinds of dreams here tonight. The first will bring professional baseball back to the bluegrass, putting down roots, hoping to stay forever. The other dream belongs to the players, hoping for a summer step toward the promised land of the big leagues. And while both dreams will have different endings, they started in the same place.
There's no crying in baseball!
Come here, Jake.
Ready? 1, 2, 3,
Little league fantasies of major league heroics. Look hard enough, you'll see him too. The next Mark McGwire is here, somewhere in a kid-sized uniform.
Tuesday, September 8th, and Mark McGwire moves one place in front of Roger Maris. Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark! You are the new single-season home run king!
So are Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey. They dreamed of Mike Schmidt and George Brett and Ricky Henderson, who dreamed of Mantle and Mays and Gibson and Ruth and Gehrig.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And Cy Young before them. Boys playing a man's game. Men playing a boy's game. America's game. And tonight, finally again, Lexington's game. From WTVQ-TV, News Channel 36, this is Lexington Legends Opening Day coverage. Sponsored in part by S&S Tire, by Commonwealth Eye Surgery, by your Central Kentucky Ford dealer, and by Hodge Construction. Now from Lexington Legends Ballpark, it's time to play ball.
The dream is now real. Pro baseball comes to Lexington, and welcome to the Lexington Legends Ballpark as we start the home season here on News Channel 36 with the Legends playing host to the Hagerstown Suns. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kenny Rice. We're happy that you could join us for this historic event in Lexington baseball history. And I'm happy to be working tonight with News Channel 36 Sports Director John McQuiston and a legend himself over here, Major Leaguer Jeff Barrett. John, we've heard about this for so long. As a native Lexingtonian, I call myself now, for over 10 years, we've talked about baseball coming here, and here it is, moments away from the start.
And not only is it here in spectacular fashion. This park, as we get to see shots of it throughout the night, is a wonderful facility. And also, as we saw in the Open, there's a future Major League star here somewhere. And we don't know who it is yet, but we might get a glimpse tonight.
We may have another Jeff Barrett showing up in this game. He is truly a Lexington legend. Grew up here, played in the youth leagues, on his way to Lafayette High School and the University of Kentucky, and then going on to an 8-year major league career. Jeff, you started much like this in the minor leagues, working your way up. With the atmosphere we have here tonight of opening night baseball in Lexington, what do you think's going through the minds of some of the Legends players as they take the field here?
Well, these guys, when they come out on the field, they're nervous enough as it is. To have 6,000 plus in the ballpark, all the hype we have, live television, it's fun and exciting for them.
And this is certainly an exciting evening. We're glad again that you could join us. And now here's the national anthem. Our national anthem sung by some legendary musicians from the Lexington area, the group Exile. Had the big hit Kiss You All Over back in 1978 and then went on to a great country career in the early 80s. J.P. Pennington and Les Taylor leading the way there on the singing of our national anthem. 7,000 here tonight because that's all the place will hold. John McQuiston, it's packed as we expected that it would be.
Well, they started selling tickets on a cold February morning, and they had people lined up outside the door at a hotel downtown. I remember one woman came in, the Legends began passing out hot chocolate. One woman came in, got a cup, she called someone on a cell phone and said, "I'm so glad they're doing this, but I don't know whether to drink it or pour it on my feet." But they had some hardy fans out there, and it was a great kickoff for them as far as their effort to sell season tickets. And as we look at the crowd tonight and hear the cannons burst, it is just a wonderful sight. The place will be full. They had just a few standing room only seats available on each of the right and left field lines for folks. But outside of that, it is full as we see J.J. Cannon, the Legends manager, at home plate with the exchange of the lineup cards.
Cannon, the Legends manager, Bill Hayes, the manager of the Hagerstown Suns, the Legends, of course, with the Houston Astros organization, the Suns
Toronto
with the
Blue
San
Jays.
Francisco Giants now. They just changed affiliations this year. Longtime Jays, now they're in the orange and black of the Giants. And I think the Hagerstown players are enjoying the scene here. Jeff Parrott, we were talking with manager Bill Hayes beforehand, and he said, he told our guys, you think this place is nice, just wait till you keep moving up in the minor league ranks. This is some motive for you.
Exactly. Some real good incentive for these guys to see what it's like when you start getting to the upper levels. And they're going to have some fun out here.
And here's the lineup for the Hagerstown Suns. They bring a 2-2 record into this. They've yet to play at home. They've been on the road at Hickory, North Carolina. Coming over here, Jason Ellison, the center fielder, leads it off. Brian Gann is their second baseman. D.V. Santos at first base. Dan Trumbull, the designated hitter, bats cleanup. He leads the team in runs scored right now. The left fielder is Brian Carter. Mark Walker is the right fielder. Hitting number 7 is Trey Lunsford, solid defensive player. Angel Chavez is the third baseman. And Tomas Garrido, the slick fielding shortstop, who's also batting .417 after 4 games, rounds out the batting order. On defense, here's the way your Lexington Legends look. Nick Roberts is on the mound. John Buck behind the plate. Brian Schmidt is at first base. Felix Escalona is the second baseman. Thomas Whiteman is the shortstop. Ramon Herman is the third baseman. John Topolsky is in left field. Mike Rosamond is in center field, and Mike Hill is in right field. And the man who is making the start tonight, Utah native Nick Roberts, his second appearance of the season. He will be the man that throws out the first pitch here in Legend Stadium.
That's right, Kenny. Nick Roberts, a 24-year-old right-hander. He's got a sinker ball. He may need it tonight with the wind howling out to right.
He started in the Legends' first game in Charleston, West Virginia. Got a no decision as the Legends lost 2-0, but in 5 innings allowed only 3 hits and no runs in that game.
Here we get a look at a pitch. Nick's getting ready for the game. There's been a few minutes extra time. He's got the backup catcher catching him.
We should explain that, too, because there has been a delay. The first pitch was scheduled to go off at 7:05, but what happened was that the umpire discovered that the right field chalk line, down the right field line, was not perfectly straight. It seemed to veer into foul territory, and the umpire said we cannot play until that is erased and relayed down correctly, and that accounts for the roughly 15-minute delay that we will have in the start of this game. Now, among the festivities they've had beforehand, we saw Nick Robert doing some warm-up pitching. He does not throw out the first pitch because there have been as many as 50 ceremonial first pitches thrown out tonight, including Alan Stein, the president and CEO of the Legends. He was among those who threw out first pitches. That's a big deal. They have a big honor for them, and obviously a big night for Alan Stein as well.
That's right. They say there's no crying in baseball. I'm sorry, but Alan and Kathy, I think there were a few tears shed out there tonight.
Yeah, he's been very emotional at various times when they announced they had a manager, when they announced they had the affiliation with the Astros. The more and more that this began to become real for him, the more emotional he got about it. And you can see in this that it's really a touching scene. His wife Kathy Stein in the pink dress there and some of his children. A big night for all of the Stein family.
That was really a neat thing Alan did there. He was so tempted to throw the first pitch, but he handed it to his son and let his son do it for him. And I know they'll never forget that.
That was nice. Brad Redmond, the principal owner of the team, let Travis Redmond, his 12-year-old son, also throw out the first pitch. Nothing like bringing the kids to the ballpark, as we ran into several people who said, I brought my grandson out tonight. I brought my son out tonight. I wanted them to see their first pro baseball game.
Well, we're used to hearing about ticket prices, and I was stunned the first time I read that ticket prices here range from $1 to $7. And you can afford to bring out a family at those prices, and you can see fans with children ready to watch some baseball here in Lexington.
Among those also throwing out a first pitch tonight, Congressman Ernie Fletcher. Let's check out the form here, Jeff Barrett.
All right, Ernie's lined up nice to the plate. He's pointing to somebody. Good form. Two of the three got there.
I was going to say, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, they were all blocked, though. It shows a lot of heart for the Legends players. I'm glad to see that. Nice going, guys.
And you said you appreciate sometimes a 59-foot pitch, Jeff.
They don't get hit, Kenny, and sometimes they swing at them. I used to throw it there often. Although catchers, they all remember me.
We do have some news here tonight, and that is we've been calling it the Lexington Legends Ballpark, but literally hot off the presses, the club announced that there's going to be a new name. It's going to be called Applebee's Stadium. They've been trying to work out a deal where they would have naming rights to the stadium, and Applebee's Restaurants has started that, the first of a 10-year agreement. They didn't announce how much they're paying, but you can bet it's not cheap.
That's a lot of burgers.
That's exactly right. They said all that goes right towards the bottom line, and these guys have invested some serious money to bring an A-ball team into this town, and I really think it's going to pay off for them. There's some smart people involved.
Serious money, like $13.5 million of private money, business money put up here to get this stadium built, to purchase the land and get it built, probably really a little more than $13.5 million. And this is one of the few privately owned minor league parks. About 20% of the minor league parks around the country are privately owned. This is one of them. They even have a merry-go-round carousel out there in left field for the kids.
Just contributing to the family atmosphere. What a great place.
That's something they have worked hard to do. They have the picnic area out there. They have the carousel. And it's something that nowadays in sports you can't simply say, here are some players, here's a game, come watch. They really work hard, teams do nowadays, and the Legends have studied the success stories and the failures as we see the Legends take the field for the first time in their home uniforms.
A team that lost last Thursday night in their first game at Charleston, West Virginia. There was a rain out on Friday, so they played 2 on Saturday. They won those 2 games and then won big again yesterday. And the Legends are a team that has put up 35 runs in their 3 straight victories.
That's right. Jayhawk Owens is the hitting instructor for the Legends. He's a guy that I used to play with at one time, and believe me, when they start throwing up 20 runs in a game, makes the hitting instructor look good. His future in baseball is bright at this moment.
And after scratching out just 2 hits in their first game in that loss to Charleston, as Nick Roberts failed to benefit from his fine performance, they now have a team batting average of .309, so they've obviously, with the 20 runs and then the next 2 games, 15 runs between those 2, they've been able to get the bats working for them.
Well, this is a hitter's park, as we believe, at least, Jeff, that it's going to turn out to be a hitter's park. As we walked around it yesterday, especially with only 318 ports down the right field line, a line now that's been redone again. That's why we have the delay. We talk about a game of inches, and the line was only off about 2 or 3 inches, we've been told. There you see left field. It's 320 there. 385 in left center, 401 straight away, 365 in right center, and then 318 in right. The wind has been blowing out. It looks like it's blowing a little bit to right center now, and the tendency, at least among the Lexington Legends we've talked with, is they'll be able to do some damage to those walls before this season's over.
We should say that if the ball hits off the scoreboard and bounces back on the field, it is a home run. Another thing to point out about this is that the stadium is that the outfield wall, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's not perfectly rounded. There's going to be some awkward ricochets off that wall as we see this thing continue. I should mention also, the first pitch of the Lexington Legends opening day game is sponsored by Fielder's Choice Sports Card Shop, and Nick Roberts is about to deliver it, and Kenny Rice starts us off with the play-by-play.
Thank you, John McQuiston, and here it is, the first pitch and the first pro baseball game in Lexington, and big right-hander Nick Roberts is the man who will do the honors out of Southern Utah University.
Nick is known kind of as a control pitcher, got a little sinker like we say out there, but getting ahead, making the guys hit the ball, let your defense work, keeps everybody in the game.
Jason Ellison, the center fielder, leads things off, batting 188. A couple of RBI right now for Hagerstown, and here is the first pitch for strike 1.
First pitch right on the outside corner, a little slider to start him off. That'll make him think.
And the 1-0 hits sharply into left for a base hit. So the visitor, Jason Ellison, gets the first hit here in the Lexington Legends Park.
Herman at third base made a nice effort after the ball, but it was hit pretty well right in the crease.
Got hold of a curveball, looked like.
Well, here we go. Let's turn to double play here. Let's get the Legends into play. As a pitcher, that was my main goal. Get our team off the field. It's not for my show out there, so let us hit.
Always rooting for that 6-4-3, weren't you?
It's a thing of beauty.
As we take the shot from the center field camera, shades of Wrigley Field a little bit with the brick background.
Yeah, it really is. The open atmosphere, people having fun. You're right on top of the field here.
Brian Gann steps up, batting .308 with 3 RBIs, swing and a miss. Quick throw down to first, and they got him.
How's that for a double play?
John Buck snaps the throw down to Brian Schmidt to get out Jason Ellison.
And the first out of this Lexington Legends opening day game has been sponsored by Arby's, and it comes 2 for 1.
It may have been something of a set play. The first baseman Schmidt, I see when he broke back to the bag, he's staying right there by it. Oh, it was kind of a attempted steal. He got caught in no man's land. Thank you very much.
Some bad base running right there.
As long as it's for the other guy, we'll take it.
You pitchers, you'll take that 2-3 put out anytime, won't you?
Anytime they're out and they're not scoring, getting across the plate, I like it.
Roberts ahead on Gann. 0-2.
This is the number 3 hitter. A lot of times in the middle of these lineups in A-ball games, you'll do some good things.
Swing and a miss. He's out of there.
Number 2 hitter.
So Nick Roberts registers the first strikeout here in Legends Stadium.
First strikeout thrown by a Lexington Legends pitcher in this opening day game has been brought to you by Strike Zone Lanes. Here's another look.
Looks like just a good fastball in the outside corner. A lot of pop on that one. It was by him.
I'm throwing it, you try to hit it. Davey Santos now steps in and looks at a strike. Santos, the first baseman, batting .263, 3 RBI in this young season.
Roberts doing a good job getting ahead so far. Count evens up now at 1-1. There's the 59-footer, Kenny. If you notice, he did not hit it.
He did not touch it. Wasn't even close, was it? A ball and a strike on Santos, who has hit safely in the last 2 games.
Santos up on the plate, inside fastball. Oh, that was close. There's the appeal we look for, across the left-hander's body to first.
You notice they only have 2 umpires in the minor leagues.
That's a tough call for an umpire behind the hitter like that.
Mr. Persinger behind the plate from Tates Creek High School, played at Northern Kentucky his baseball career. I'm sure it's a big night for him to be here. That's high.
That away, John. Get them all. Don't let any slip by. That might have been a strike.
3 balls and a strike on Davey Santos.
Popped him up. Is it in play?
This should do it. Should end the inning. Oh, maybe. Oh, it should have. I got it. You take it.
Wait, did they get him out anyway with the play of
And
first?
now
Persinger's calling it foul at first.
it's foul ball. Escalona drifting over from second base. Brian Schmidt moving back from first. And what looked like the ball that would end the inning fell into no man's land. Fortunately, it goes foul.
So we see a blunder for the Suns, and we also see now a mistake by the Legends.
It's a good chance for the pitcher to pick up his fielders right there. Nobody feels worse than the guy that lets that ball fall in. If the pitcher can come up with a big pitch, it'll be forgotten quickly. Might be a little handshake from Schmidt to Roberts on the way into the dugout, too.
So Santos steps back in now with a full count and 2 out. Bouncer to first. Schmidt has it, and he'll make it unassisted. That's the inning. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first for the Suns. The Lexington Legends are coming to the plate.
When that door's open, we get a breeze, but we're fine. That probably can't stay that way.
That's right. We never burned our sods, did we?
I'll just lay it right there. Thanks for trying to help me out there. I'm just adding up outs all over the place.
I missed that one too. I felt the same thing. Oh, play! Wow.
Welcome back to opening night of baseball in Lexington. The pros are now in town, and here's the way they'll bat for the Lexington Legends. Left fielder John Topolsky will lead it off. Felix Escalona behind him. Brian Schmidt hits third. Mike Hill, the cleanup man. Ramon Herman at third base batting fifth. Mike Rosamond in center field hits sixth. John Buck is the catcher batting seventh. The designated hitter is Jesse Joyce, and the shortstop batting ninth is Tommy Whiteman. And on defense for Hagerstown, Thomas is on the mound. Trey Lunsford behind the plate. Santos at first. Gann at second. The shortstop is a good one. Tomas Garrido, Chavez, and then in the outfield, Carter, Ellison, and Walker. John Thomas on the mound now for the Hagerstown Suns.
John Thomas making his first start in 2 years. He's been injured.
Facing a red-hot John Topolsky, who looks at strike one, batting .368 with a homer. He has 9 RBI to lead the South Atlantic League.
John Thomas has had some elbow problems. He hasn't pitched in a while. He's a big, strong kid. That first pitch looked like there's no problems anymore. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup type guy. He's on a 60-pitch limit tonight, and they'll be watching this guy close. He was a high draft choice.
Outside 1-1 to Topolsky out of Baylor University, a native of Houston, Texas, selected by the Astros in the 4th round of the June '99 draft. He led the Midwest League in triples last year with 12 of those, playing for the Astros team in Michigan.
Yeah, that says something about the type of player that he is. He's a speed guy, can run it down, he'll steal some bases, let's get him on. First guy who's got the count in his favor.
Well, he has been red hot. He reached base all 5 times in the 20-7 win over the weekend. Yesterday had 3 RBI and 2 hits as he looks at strike 2, and the count goes full to the leadoff man for the Lexington Legends.
Unusual that your leadoff hitter would lead the league in RBIs, although it is early in the season.
And he is the man who also hit the first homer in Legends history as he looks at ball 4.
Good 3-2 breaking ball. Must have been just off the corner. Gets our leadoff man on.
The first ever walk given up to a Lexington Legends batter here at the new ballpark has been brought to you by A.B. Roofing. Not to be confused with A.P. Valentine, who might run in the Bluegrass Stakes this coming Saturday at Keeneland.
That leadoff walk just gave him a 60% chance of scoring there, fellas. It really increases your chances.
This brings up second baseman Felix Escalona, who fouls it back into the screen.
Felix, a good contact hitter, really solid all the way around. He's a hit-and-run guy. JJ's not afraid to put some moves on and some signs with this guy at the plate.
And Topolsky has good speed at first.
First inning, maybe you don't want to give away too many easy outs. Maybe we'll let it play out a little bit. But if you got your speed up there, you got your bat control, let's get her going.
Escalona lays it down third base. That is a nice one. The pitcher has to come off the mound and no play.
Not even a chance. Right off the end of the bat, perfectly down the third base line. Third baseman, no play. Pitcher, left-hander, just hang on to it.
You couldn't have laid it down any better than Escalona just did. The base hit, the first for the Lexington Legends, is a bunt from Felix Escalona.
And the first Lexington Legends hit this opening day game has been brought to you by All Sports. And whether it's a bunt or it's a home run, it's still a hit.
That moves Topolsky to second, Escalona at first, and brings up big Brian Schmidt, the first baseman, batting .412 on the season with a couple of RBI. He had the first hit in Lexington Legends history That was a single last Thursday night in Charleston, West Virginia. One of only 2 hits the Legends had in that game, and they've been red hot since then.
According to their hitting coach, this guy's a legit number 3 hitter. He can swing it, hit it hard. He's got power to all fields. First and second, nobody out. No plays on with your power guy at the dish, though. Let him swing it.
There's Schmidt, selected in the 14th round of the '99 draft by the Astros, and he looks at another that's outside. So John Thomas, who hasn't pitched in a couple of years, may be wishing that he wasn't out there right now with Topolsky on second and Escalona on first and nobody out for the number 3 hitter who's ahead of the count 2-0.
Being a tall lefty out there, these left-handed hitters in the lineup for the Legends are the ones that he really needs to get.
There's the 2-0. Knocked down briefly and enough to get the out at second base. John Thomas got a glove on it and able to move over Garrido to pick it up and get the force on Escalona, as moving down to third is Topolsky, and on the fielder's choice, Brian Schmidt is on first. Runners on the corner with a man out.
Garrido's got a really nice glove out there. Yeah, he did bobble it. He showed us
him a chance at a double play, too.
See if he does a little calisthenics for us here, trying to get to the ball. He picked it up in time. He was on the base. That's a good call.
Jeff, you mentioned the pitcher not having started a game in 2 years might be showing some rust.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe 5 starts in spring training is what he got, but it's nothing like game time.
Cleanup hitter Mike Hill up now, a man who can swing a big bat as he takes it inside for ball 1, batting .412 with a homer and 5 RBI right now. Mike Hill, the man who had a 2-run homer in the 20-7 win. And we've watched him in batting practice last week over at Transylvania University, and you were impressed, Jeff, with how he sprayed it to all parts of the park.
When you see the ball jump off a guy's bat like it does this guy, he can go over the field and left, over the fence. He hits the ball into the gap. Jayhawk Owens, their head instructor, he said that this guy is his big leaguer. He's got his money riding on him to make it to the show someday. The 17th round draft choice, so he wasn't really expected to do too much coming out of there, but he's grown, he's matured, he's got stronger. Here he is hitting 4.
Thomas concerned with Brian Schmidt a little bit at first base. Here's the 1-0.
Doesn't take our fans long to get restless, did it?
And Jeff, when you haven't pitched in a while and you got a guy on first base, how distracting is that as you're looking over there trying to get ready to throw a pitch?
You know, I never did it from a left-hander's standpoint, but if you're staring right at the guy, I would think it would have to be a huge advantage for the pitcher. I mean, you're going to freeze him, keep him from getting a walking lead, and you can pick him at any time.
Here's the 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes now to the Legends cleanup hitter Mike Hill.
Looks like we played a little conservative here. Don't want to take the bat out of the hand of a guy like Hill at the plate. Give him a chance to swing it. Righty against lefty.
Pretty good pick by the catcher to keep that one from going back to the wall.
Here's a 3-0. Is he taking it? Well, certainly that kind of pitch he is. The second walk of the inning given up by Hagerstown pitcher John Thomas, and it's loaded the bases with 1 out, and Ramon Herman coming to the plate.
Sometimes that was my philosophy out there, you know, walk them until you find somebody you can get out, but all of a sudden you got the bases loaded. You've picked your guy.
Well, we talk about walks will haunt. John Topolsky led off the game with a walk, and now Mike Hill draws a walk. So far, the Legends haven't got the ball out of the infield, but they have the bases loaded with 1 out.
Ramon Herman, number 24, looks a lot like Tony Perez out there for the Big Red fans.
Batting .294, he has a couple of RBI.
I guess if you're the Legends, you just take pitches until the guy proves he can throw it over the plate.
He misses inside again. 1 ball and no strikes.
Had 5 straight balls.
A big guy like this has got visions of RBIs dancing in his head. He's not going to let too many good ones get by.
Ball 2. You can tell he wants a pitch to hit. He was named the MVP at Martinsville after leading the team in just about every offensive category. Was an Appalachian League All-Star, first baseman last year.
Leaning way out over the plate, challenging him to throw it in there. Oh, swinging at it 2-0.
That's drifting down the line in right field and is going to be out of play.
There is not a whole lot of foul territory, as you can see, especially down the lines there. The seats are very close to the field of play, and that is an advantage to the hitters.
Yes, pitchers don't like that sort of thing. I mean, that play is almost in play in a lot of parks, but not here. The fans are right on the field. If you come to a game, folks, be careful because you're right there.
And bring your glove. Take home a souvenir. 2 balls and 1 strike on Herman with the bases jammed. Swung on. High fly ball to left field. Settling under it is Carter to make the play. Topolsky is tagging, and he's coming in with the first run in pro baseball history here in Lexington. Home team goes up 1-0.
That ball was nice and deep. It was well hit, high in the air. There was no chance for a play anywhere. He did allow the guy to get to second base, though. He kind of stumbled under it just a little bit. That little stuff.
Still 2 guys in scoring position. That first run scored by the Legends in this opening day game, sponsored by All Sports.
John Topolsky, if you're keeping track of this at home, is the man who scores the first run for the Lexington Legends on this sac fly to left field off the bat of Ramon Herman. And it brings up Mike Rosamond, the center fielder, who fouls it back, batting .294. He has a homer and 5 RBI.
He's a guy he's a big, tall guy, big, long stride, and a big looping swing. And if he hits it, he can hit it a long way. But he's had a problem last year. More than a third of his times at bat, he struck out.
2 men on for him as he dribbles that one foul. Schmidt is down at third on the throw to the plate. Hill went down to second. There's 2 out, still 2 aboard for Rosamond.
You know, John, that brings up a good point. That's what sometimes separates these guys from the big leagues. It's not the raw ability, it's just the consistency and getting into the right mode to, let some of those bad pitches go by.
You might have seen him play here, UK Wildcat fans. He played for Ole Miss in the SEC as he looks at ball 1, 1 and 2.
Told me he was excited about coming back here.
He was named to the New York Penn League All-Star team 2 years ago, drafted by the Astros in June of '99. 1-0, Lexington is leading Hagerstown.
Base hit.
Base hit up the middle. 1 run comes in. Here comes Hill around, and he will make it also. 2 runs in for the Legends. The ball gets away, and going all the way to third base is Mike Rosamond. It's 3-0 Legends.
Nice piece of hitting right there, right back up the box. That was a situation where maybe the left fielder could have tried to keep the man at first base, but after the ball hits Hill, anybody's going to score.
You see that big long stride? He got a hold of that one nicely.
Nice swing by Rosamond, brings in 2. The throw coming in from center fielder Jason Ellison right at you. And it gets by. I believe it hit Hill as he was coming to the plate on that.
Yeah, it really did. Catcher's kind of waiting back, hoping for a good throw. He knew there might be a play at the plate, but we get a little tail on it.
John Buck comes up, hits it to shortstop, and that is the inning. 6-3. He is retired. But the Legends, in their first at-bat in Lexington, do some damage. They pick up 3 runs on a hit. There was an error made by Hagerstown. And after 1 complete on opening day, the Legends 3, the Suns nothing.
Sometime at the top of the second. We got most of our Legends first things out of the way. It's Neiman Brewer. After the VO, okay.
Oh, he just had to get the first things in. All the first, he just had to. Okay.
Well, what's this that they have queued up? They have a view queued up. It's like a VO.
We played one inning of pro baseball in Lexington and plenty to cheer for the hometown fans as the Legends get 3 runs in the bottom of the first to take that 3-0 lead into the second inning for pitcher Nick Roberts.
Legends did that with only 1 hit also, Kenny. A couple of booted balls, a couple of small mistakes, a big hit.
Couple of walks.
And the 4, 5, and 6 hitters now coming up for Hagerstown in this inning. Designated hitter Dan Trumbull leads it off, batting .364, a homer and an RBI. He leads the team with 4 runs after 4 games.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Lexington Legends, the South Atlantic League, and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues Incorporated, and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Lexington Legends, the South Atlantic League, and the National Association of Professional Baseball Incorporated is prohibited. Not to mention just plain rude.
There's a ground ball to third. Herman up with it, over to Schmidt, and there's 1 away. And if you set your VCRs for posterity to have on tape that first Lexington Legends game, we won't track you down at home.
Okay. Well, this is part of the private, non-commercial use of our audience, I think, what that clause falls under.
There's Herman. We've heard about his arm as well, Jeff, and that was a nice, easy throw, easy routine play, and that's the way you like to see him make it when it is. And there's a strike to the left fielder, Brian Carter, batting .200 with a couple of RBI.
There you go, keeping the ball on the ground, Nick. That's a good way to do it.
Swing and a miss.
High fastball, got past him. These guys, just about everybody for the Legends throws both a 2 and a 4-seam fastball. 4-seamer for the high pitches, 2-seamer gets a little sink. Has a tendency to go away from the left-handed hitters being a right-hander. Try to get the ground ball on it, try to get the swing and the miss, or the lock up on the 4-seamer.
Good 0-2 pitch to a left-hander. He missed outside, but you try to get him to go for that. He fouls that one off. Count remains 1-2 with a man out here in the top of the second.
And that pitch also seemed to set up the following one, that going from outside to back inside.
Something we've seen Nick do here the first 2 hitters is establish an inside fastball. Anytime you do that, it speeds the hitter up. Makes your off-speed stuff that much better. There it is.
Oh, and there was that off-speed. That's pulling the string. Second strikeout of the game for Brian Carter. Let's check in now with News Channel 36's Greg Stottlemyre talking with Alan Stein.
Alan Stein had a dream, and the dream has now come true. What do you feel like tonight?
I feel like my dreams came true. This might be the most excited I've ever been, not counting when my children were born, and of course when I met Kathy Stein. But golly, look at this place. It's packed. There's not a seat. Everybody's happy and having fun, and it's all about, look at all these kids with their gloves. Shoot.
Shed a tear yet?
Yeah, I have. But there's no crying in baseball. So
go enjoy the game, Alan.
Thanks,
Greg. Alan Stein, the dream has come true. Back up to the booth.
Thanks, Greg. Congratulations, Alan Stein. It has been a dream come true for him.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's the 0-2 to Mark Walker, the right fielder, high 1-2. After they lost to the Alley Cats of Charleston last week, Allen on a bet, went through with it and took a bite of cat food after the loss. Thank goodness they weren't playing the Savannah Sand Gnats, also of the Sally League. There is a swing and a miss on Walker, the 3rd strikeout recorded for Nick Roberts. And now, after an inning and a half here at Legends Field, the score remains Lexington 3, Hagerstown nothing. And he goes to work, doesn't he? He goes to work. I don't know. What is that bird?
Just let you guys.
programming announcement at 8 o'clock. I don't know which one you guys will be reading it, though.
Yeah, either one. John may be doing it. He'll probably be doing it then, so I can do it, whatever.
It's, and we did clarify that tomorrow morning is like later tonight.
Yeah.
So.
They're dancing, they're singing, they're clapping their hands. The home team is up 3-0. The Legends leading the Hagerstown Suns in South Atlantic League action. The first pro baseball game here in Lexington. There's the manager, J.J. Cannon, who spent time with the Astros and the Blue Jays during his Major League playing career.
That spanned parts of 4 seasons. Hit 1 home run. Only one, I guess. On the other hand, he did hit one, and he now tells us about hitting.
We've got some power. We've got a little bit of speed. We haven't showed that yet because we've been hitting the ball pretty well the last 3 games, and the guys are getting on track. But we're going to have a lot of power in this team. I think we're going to put up a lot of runs. We've got some contact hitters, even though they seem to be free swingers. They put the ball in play, and it's going to be a real exciting thing to watch them play because it's such a balanced offense, and hitting is contagious. Once somebody gets started, the whole team just jumps right in, and we've done that last few days, and it's been a lot of production.
Contagious, it's been an epidemic is the way they've been hitting the ball in the last couple of games coming into this one. Here's the designated hitter, Jesse Joyce. He'll be followed by Thomas Whiteman, and then back to the top of the order with John Topolsky for the Legends here in the bottom of the second with that 3-0 lead, and John Thomas, the left-hander, on the mound for Hagerstown. Misses low, ball 1.
In our conversations with the JJ, he said that he fancied his game or tried to fashion it after Willie Wilson. He was a triples guy, would hook the ball down the first baseline and run.
Fouled away, 1-1. And what happened the time you were telling me earlier when Willie Wilson hits this triple off that guy named Nolan Ryan, and he's standing on third base?
First mistake was he hit the triple. Made Nolan back up third. On the way back to the mound, Willie says, "Take that, old man." That was his second mistake.
What happened the next time he batted?
The next time at bat, Nolan hit him with a fastball so hard in the arm that Willie limped to first. They threw Nolan out of the game. Nolan could not believe that. He thought that was part of the game. That's the way he was raised. Somebody shows you up, you get them back. But anyway, he exited, and we played on.
1-2, the count to Jesse Joyce. Looks at a breaking ball inside, evens the count at 2-2. Robin Ventura found that out as well, that Nolan Ryan can be a tough guy. The greatest punch ever thrown by a pitcher in a fight.
People don't realize how hard that guy would work, Nolan Ryan. They had a rookie one day and
2-2 hit down the line, base hit. It goes into the corner, and it could be extra bases. Joyce is turning, he's going to second, and he'll make it standing up. Jesse Joyce leads off the bottom of the second with a stand-up double down the left field line.
Nice piece of hitting right over the bag. Back to Nolan, people really didn't realize how hard he worked. There was a rookie one day that asked their coach, said, "What do I have to do to make it in the big leagues?" They said, "You hang out with Nolan for a day and do his workout." The guy came back at the end of the day, said, "I don't think I'm going to make it."
Is that young man Jeff Parrott?
Oh, he made it fine, but the stories about Nolan Ryan remind you how much intimidation plays a role in pitching.
That's exactly right. He was one of the honoriest guys out there on the mound. He played to win every time, and if you can just relay that to these guys, that's what your goal is, that makes it look better, then that'll help them out.
At the plate now is Thomas Whiteman, 21-year-old shortstop out of Oklahoma. Has a 1-0 count to him with a man on second. That's hit into the air, into the gap in right center field. It's going to bring in the 4th run of the game. Joyce will score with ease. Going down to second with a double is Thomas Whiteman. And on back-to-back doubles to start the bottom of the second, the Legends are now up 4-0.
Whiteman with a nice piece of hitting right there. He stayed inside the ball, let it get in on him just a little bit, but he fought it off. He had a place to go with it, and there it went. He'll take that RBI, hitting in the 9-hole. That's a thing of beauty. He wouldn't mind scoring a run right here either.
That pitch was a little bit up higher, I think, than the pitcher wanted it.
That's what you call going with that pitch. as he hits it into the gap, and this brings up Topolsky, the top of the order, hits it to second base. Up with it is Gann, over to Santos. There's one away, and going on over to third base now is Thomas Whiteman.
With no outs, that's a great piece of hitting. You want the man to third with one out. He pulled the ball on the ground, got him to third, gave up his AB, but look, he's a hero in the dugout.
J.J. Cannon talking there to Thomas Whiteman, who doubled in the fourth run in this game. Felix Escalona up for the second time. Had that infield single bunted to get on to get the first hit here for Lexington Legends in this park, and then was forced out at second. Looks at ball one.
Hagerstown's got the infield drawn in, trying to stop this run from scoring. They need to shore up their defense just a little bit.
There's one out. That's hitting to the air on the right side, drifting over to the stands, and there's a souvenir for some lucky fan.
There you go. Escalona's hoping for a fly ball, but mainly he just wants to hit the ball hard. With the infielders in, that really opens up the holes between them.
Something unusual, at least in the manager, J.J. Cannon, is also the third base coach. With fewer coaches in the minor league team, the manager will take over those duties that on a major league team you'd have a separate coach for.
Jayhawk Owens doing the duties as the first base coach and also the hitting instructor. Here's the 1-1. Just a bit high.
Just a bit.
2-1.
You wonder with a guy who hasn't started a game in a long time how long he can keep his composure if things continue to go poorly.
And how many pitches they will let him go today, Jeff Barrett. Not pitching in almost 2 years.
They said 60 pitches would be his limit. And I don't know if they'll let him start an inning to get to that and bring in somebody in the middle or not. But I don't know exactly how many he's got. There's quite a few pitches been thrown so far.
Escalona got around a little too quick on that, hitting a hard foul down the left field line to even the count at 2-2. A man out, one run already across. Thomas Whiteman just 90 feet away now with the fifth run for the Legends. Hit to third. Up with it is Chavez. Over to first, and it gets past Santos.
Third baseman made a nice play right there, trying to put the tag on the runner.
But he couldn't do it. Whiteman gets back in time and then comes in to score, and Escalona reaches on an error and goes down to second base, and the Legends have now put 5 runs across the plate.
Part of the hazards of 2 umpires right there. The home plate umpire had to try to make the call with his back turned. Oh, that was close.
Chavez almost got him there, and then the throw a little low, and Santos, who we've been told is a fine defensive player, not able to dig that one out on the throw from Chavez. And Whiteman comes in to score, and reaching first on an error and also going all the way to second on that same error is Escalona, as Schmidt comes to the plate and hits it high and back of the plate, and it's going to be caught by Trey Lunsford. Some more room back there than down the lines, and Lunsford gets it for the second out of this inning.
Nice play by the catcher right there. That's never an easy ball. Has a lot of angle to it. Cleared his mask, put his back to the plate, made the catch. Michael Hill. I get excited watching this guy come to the plate. He just looks hitterish.
Hill reached base on a walk back in the first inning, and would also come in to score the third run of this game. The Legends up 5-0, 5 runs on 4 hits already.
Check swing on an off-speed pitch, right back to the pitcher.
Right back to Thomas. Easy play over to Santos to finally get out of the inning. But some more damage done by the Legends before it's all said and done. They get 2 runs on a couple of hits. Another Hagerstown error. We played 2 complete here at Lexington Ballpark, and the Legends lead 5-0 over Hagerstown.
Stadium, right?
They should have given me more advance on that stadium.
Well, they just
they just handed it to us.
Alan probably cut the deal this afternoon.
So I guess, Kenny, you read the 8 o'clock programming announcement?
Let's see, I had one of these. Do you have one?
Let's see, yeah, I got one here. Let's see, we've got
them all except the first stolen base and the first home run.
First stolen base and first... How'd it go for you so far?
Good.
Okay. watching it. I was trying to see if he was going to attack it. Here, man. I'll sit right there. Can you read that right?
Yeah,
okay.
No, I didn't have a chance to make a chart.
Yeah. No, this man was working off that. For Chuck.
Welcome back. Top of the third inning for the Lexington Legends. We look again at the play from the last inning. It ended it.
Just a little off-speed pitch. Check swing right back to him. That's just an easy play. You appreciate that as a pitcher, especially when you're struggling.
And now the Suns up here to begin the third. Trey Lunsford, the catcher, bats.
Nick Roberts doing a good job getting ahead, throwing strikes. Believe me, the fielders out there, when they see that, they stay on their toes. They keep their sweat going, running in and out of the dugout all the time. Nice going.
Working fairly quickly, too, which is another thing fielders appreciate.
And umpires.
Just inside, ball one.
Really tries to establish that inside fastball. First time through the order, or maybe that's just his style, but it's an effective pitch. They've not even swung at it yet.
And then he moves to an outside pitch on the corner for a strike. And that's something I think young pitchers try to work on, is working the ball around different parts of the plate. You get the inside, he's looking for inside, boom, you nail him on the outside corner. 1-1 is this pitch. You see he went back inside with that one. Now suddenly it's 1-2, and as Jeff, you mentioned, getting ahead in the count.
And when you're throwing that hard, too, an inside fastball and an outside fastball, if they're actually towards the corner, it's two different pitches. It's hard for any hitter to cover both of those at the same time.
And already Roberts ready in the windup. And he brings a curveball in there. It's out to right field and caught by Mike Hill for the first out of the third inning.
Well, we talk about that pitching, and here's manager J.J. Cannon now talking about the impressive starting pitching these Legends have.
Challenge the hitter, move his balls in and out. He's got a good breaking ball, a good changeup, and a good fastball that he spots. And you know, he's gonna throw strikes. What he's gonna do, he's gonna challenge the hitter to put the ball in play. And hopefully our defense is gonna be right there for him. But he's a control pitcher, and he goes out and does a good job for us.
Good.
Now facing Angel Chavez. Swing and a miss.
Whoa, you could hear that one pop. Roberts, impressive last week, John. We were talking about that. Robert Steele, the #1 pick last year for the Astros, had 7 strikeouts in 4 innings. Ryan Jamison, a strong performance over the weekend as well. This has the makings of a better than you would expect Class A pitching staff for as long as they stay here, Jeff.
Yeah, these guys have strong arms. I talked to Charlie Taylor, who's the pitching coach. He's real pleased with his staff. And believe me, when they start throwing up those low ERAs, it makes him look better, too.
Slow roller to Escalona, throws over and retires the man for 2 outs. Chavez down.
When you're at this level, the coaches make out reports every night, send them back to the organization, and that's how they find how players are doing. The more you're pleasing the coach, the more good words he says about you, the better your chances at those meetings.
Well, at this level, too, every guy has a decent fastball. You were talking about the control that Nick Roberts has, but you don't get signed if you don't have a little bit of gas to go. Maybe when the major leagues come up, you get guys who can worry just about control and moving pitches around. And here's the one, struck into the gap in right center field a little bit, but fielded there by Rosamond, who brings it back to the infield for base hit by Thomas Garrido, the shortstop.
Basically, the ability is there to play on the major league level for everybody out here. They have to have shown something like that along the way to get this chance. But learning the intricacies of the game, the details, the consistency. You know, you see a guy go out and have a great game one game and come back the next one and not. That's what they require of you at the big league level.
Roberts pitches from the stretch for one of the few times this evening so far. Jason Ellison, the center fielder, and the leadoff man as we're back to the top of the order for the Hagerstown Suns, a native of Idaho.
We don't want people to get too excited. We're talking like Dave McNally, Jim Palmer, Pat Dobson, and Mike Cuellar here, the 20-win staff of the Orioles in the 70s. But this is a very good minor league group that they have assembled here for the moment. You wonder if Steele and Roberts and some of these guys might be moving up by midseason should they continue to progress.
And that was a very good fastball we just saw Roberts blow by Ellison.
Nothing like having a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to go with good control, huh?
Well, you mentioned Robert Steele. So we watch the next pitch just a little bit outside for a ball.
Robert Steele was actually a catcher. They clocked him one day throwing to second base at 96 miles an hour. They said, let's get this guy in the middle.
I asked him about that. Did you mind switching? He said that baseball is baseball. I don't care where I play. 1-2 pitch in the dirt.
Nice play by Buck right there. Close up, keep the chest protector down, knock it in front of you. Runner stays at first.
And again, a good 1-2 pitch. Throw it in the dirt. See if the guy will chase after it. Right?
There you go. Nice job, John Buck.
There's another 59-footer that wasn't hit.
The guy didn't swing at it, though. That's kind of the trick to that pitch. You can't throw a whole lot down there without him swinging at it.
Buck says he likes defense. He likes to play catcher because he gets to touch the ball every play. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. The heat again. Robert strikes out Ellison. And that'll do it for the top of the third inning. The Legends lead at 5-0 as they come to bat in the third when we come back.
Herman, Rosamond, and Buck.
What do you got for fun stuff coming up, Kenny?
I don't know. See what I got. We'll come up with something.
Are you supposed to do a hot dog thing or something? Did you get that?
Hey, buddy.
It was a big number, Kenny.
Hey,
It
it's
wasn't
a
about
family
you.
show.
Oh.
You guys got all you need. Sod number 4 so we run after this.
What is sod number 4?
Oh. Yeah, if you just.
Okay.
Okay.
It's on the rundown number 3. We've got Leo off the top.
Girlfriend was here. Put that next to her.
Chill it
You
down.
say it's a little warm?
Yeah, it's a little warm. We gotta-
You're looking inside the Maker's Mark Lounge, one of the features of the ballpark here. We talked earlier about how it's more than just baseball, and it's one of the features of the park. And there's the Maker's Mark ball way beyond the center field fence. Now the deal with this is if a Legends hitter were to smack a ball that bounced off the Maker's Mark ball there, the distillery would contribute $100,000 to charity. And hey, look at the umpire. We know what his second career is. All right. We sometimes see the men in blue as humorless blokes, but willing to participate there. Now that's, we wondered for a moment if that was a real umpire, but judging by some of those moves, I think it is.
Did you ever see Eric Gregg or the late, great John McSherry do that one?
I saw some jiggling going on.
Hey, you know that Maker's Mark ball out there is 8 foot in diameter. Now it's 435 feet away in left center field, and then you got to go up about another. You got to go up about another 35 or 40 feet to hit that ball. So, I mean, that's in flight. So we're talking roughly about 470, 475 on the shot there to get that.
Well, they didn't want to make it easy. We should point out that as we could see the guy go back in the dugout, that was not a real umpire out on the field dancing. But we'd like to think the real umpires do have a sense of humor, even if they don't have the moves to go with it. Ramon Herman leads off the bottom of the third inning for the Legends, who lead 5-0 here in their opening game at Applebee's Stadium, which it was just renamed moments before game time. First pitch inside.
And we have this reminder, the ABC original movie Final Jeopardy will not be shown at this scheduled time so that we can bring you this Legends opening day coverage. If you're tuning in to see the ABC movie, go ahead and set your VCR for 12:35 later tonight to record Final Jeopardy here on News Channel 36.
Thomas did get Herman to go around on a very inside pitch.
Ball almost hit him in the foot. Change up.
Just outside, 2-1. Jeff, you said that was the goal. Hit a guy and get a guy to swing at the same time.
That's a thing of beauty when that happens. You get a strike and he has to stand there and take it again.
And you
swing
smile.
and miss there.
Did you see the smile on his face, John?
Oh, yeah.
He loves
He's
to
still
remember
a
those
pitcher.
days when he was coming out of the pen with the Phillies or Braves or Rockies and striking them out.
Here's another look at that one as Herman gets a big cut at it but comes up with nothing. 1-2, and he's behind in the count.
You know, on every team, even if you're on the same club, the hitters and the pitchers really just don't get along that well. There's some animosity there always.
Well, because I remember one night when they first had live batting practice, the Legends, and they were saying, hey, look, it doesn't matter that we all have L's in our uniforms. They're pitchers and we're hitters and we're trying to win.
And believe me, if that hitter hits one back off the pitcher's shin, he'll be smiling too. So that's one of their favorite things to do.
The Hatfields and McCoys here as Herman takes one inside, manages not to swing at that. The count is full. Swing, and he hits a shot deep to left field. Is it fair? No, foul. Boy, he crushed it.
We've heard about his power. We got a demonstration of it there from this 21-year-old from Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, where Jeff Parrott spent some time during his career playing Winter League ball. And Herman is supposed to have that kind of power, so it shouldn't surprise us to see him do several things like that before this season's over.
And that pitch way inside goes for ball 4, so another walk as walks continue to plague John Thomas. And Michael Rosamond comes to bat next for the Legends with a man on first base and nobody out. Yeah, Herman's a guy last year in Rookie League, so this is his first full season in the A-Ball League.
Kenny, you mentioned him being from the Dominican Republic. He's one of 5 on the team from the Dominican Republic. We have one more from Venezuela. Of these guys that were signed on this team from the Dominican, 4 of them were signed at 16 years old. One of them at 17 years and 4 days. So as soon as these guys get old enough to sign, they're making that trip.
Of course, among the players out of the Dominican Republic, as Rosamond pops one foul, is Sammy Sosa. Among the many great baseball players to come out of that tiny island country.
Minor leagues put a lot of emphasis on guys trying to play some winter ball. When I was down there in 1986, Mark McGuire was just starting to break into the league.
Who?
He told them that he wasn't real comfortable playing down there. Didn't want to spend the whole winter. They told him he might not make the club. He went out the next year and hit 49 bombs.
Yep.
Rookie of the year, so.
He's been able to hit a few since then, too.
I stayed there the whole time, though.
Pitch up was up high to Rosamond.
You like the climate.
Now. All right, there's a base hit to left field for Rosamond. And the Legends have runners at first and second as Ramon Herman goes to second base on the play. And again, the Legends continue to threaten here. They already lead 5-0 and have 2 men on.
Season's best. Shop the rest. Then come to the best.
And now, Legends catcher John Buck is ready to step in with men at first and second. Nobody out, and John Thomas has labored through most of the first 3 innings pitching for the Hagerstown Suns.
John Buck goes into the history book. He scored the first run for the Lexington Legends. That was on a fielder.
Akers mark ball way beyond the center field fence. Now the deal with this is if a Legends hitter were to smack a ball that bounced off the Maker's mark ball there, the distillery would contribute $100,000 to charity. And hey, look at the umpire. We know what his second career is. All right. We sometimes see the men in blue as humorless blokes, but willing to participate there. Now that's, we wondered for a moment if that was a real umpire, but judging by some of those moves, I think it is.
Did you ever see Eric Gregg or the late, great John McSherry do that one?
I saw some jiggling going on.
Hey, you know, that Maker's Mark ball out there is 8 foot in diameter. Now, it's 435 feet away in left center field, and then you got to go up about another 35 or 40 feet to hit that ball. So, I mean, that's in flight. So we're talking roughly about 470, 475 on the shot there to get that.
Well, they didn't want to make it easy. We should point out that as we could see the guy go back in the dugout, that was not a real umpire out on the field dancing, but we'd like to think the real umpires do have a sense of humor, even if they don't have the moves to go with it. Ramon Herman leads off the bottom of the 3rd inning for the Legends, who lead 5-0 here in their opening game at Applebee's Stadium, which it was just renamed moments before game time. First pitch inside.
And we have this reminder, the ABC original movie Final Jeopardy will not be shown at this scheduled time so that we can bring you this Legends opening day coverage. If you're tuning in to see the ABC movie, go ahead and set your VCR for 12:35 later tonight to record Final Jeopardy here on News Channel 36.
Thomas did get Herman to go around on a very inside pitch.
Ball almost hit him in the foot. Change up.
Just outside, 2-1. Jeff, you said that was the goal. Hit a guy and get a guy to swing at the same time.
That's a thing of beauty when that happens. You get a strike and he has to stand there and take it again.
And you
swing and miss there.
Did you see the smile on his face, John?
Oh, yeah.
He loves
He's
to remember those
pitcher.
days when he was coming out of the pen with the Phillies or Braves or Rockies and striking them out.
Here's another look at that one as Herman gets a big cut at it but comes up with nothing. 1-2, and he's behind in the count.
You know, on every team, even if you're on the same club, the hitters and the pitchers really just don't get along that well. There's some animosity there always.
Well, because I remember one night when they first had live batting practice, the Legends, and they were saying, hey, look, it doesn't matter that we all have L's in our uniforms. They're pitchers and we're hitters and we're trying to win.
And believe me, if that hitter hits one back off the pitcher's shin, he'd be smiling too. So that's one of their favorite things to do.
The Hatfields and McCoys here as Herman takes one inside, manages not to swing at that. The count is full. Swing, and he hits a shot deep to left field. Is it fair? No, foul. Boy, he crushed it.
We've heard about his power. We got a demonstration of it there from this 21-year-old from Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic, where Jeff Parrott spent some time during his career playing Winter League ball. And Herman is supposed to have that kind of power, so it shouldn't surprise us to see him do several things like that before this season's over.
And that pitch way inside goes for ball 4, so another walk as walks continue to plague John Thomas. And Michael Rosamond comes to bat next for the Legends with a man on first base and nobody out. Yeah, Herman's a guy last year in Rookie League, so this is his first full season in the A-Ball League.
Kenny, you mentioned him being from the Dominican Republic. He's one of 5 on the team from the Dominican Republic. We have one more from Venezuela. Of these guys that were signed on this team from the Dominican, 4 of them were signed at 16 years old. One of them at 17 years and 4 days. So as soon as these guys get old enough to sign, they're making that trip.
Of course, among the players out of the Dominican Republic, as Rosamond pops one foul, is Sammy Sosa. Among the many great baseball players to come out of that tiny island country.
Minor leagues put a lot of emphasis on guys trying to play some winter ball. When I was down there in 1986, Mark McGuire was just starting to break into the league.
Who?
He told them that he wasn't real comfortable playing down there. Didn't want to spend the whole winter. They told him he might not make the club. He went out the next year and hit 49 bombs.
Yep.
Rookie of the year, so.
He's been able to hit a few since then, too.
I stayed there the whole time, though.
Pitch up was up high to Rosamond.
You like the climate.
Now. All right, there's a base hit to left field for Rosamond. And the Legends have runners at first and second as Ramon Herman goes to second base on the play. And again, the Legends continue to threaten here. They already lead 5-0 and have 2 men on.
Season's best. Shop the rest. Then come to the best.
And now, Legends catcher John Buck is ready to step in with men at first and second. Nobody out. And John Thomas has labored through most of the first 3 innings pitching for the Hagerstown Suns.
John Buck goes into the history book. He scored the first run for the Lexington Legends. That was on a fielder's choice in the 3rd inning in Saturday's first game of the doubleheader.
Catcher just stepped out in front of the plate to put a play on in case we get a bunt here. The Legends might want to try to move these runners up.
And on the first pitch, he does not bunt, but the runners might move up anyway, and they do.
Got him. Oh,
the runner's safe at second,
play.
so the ball gets away from the catcher. Rosamond safe at second. Herman goes over to third, and now 2 guys in scoring position. Rosamond limping a little bit. He'll try to walk it off. It didn't appear to be serious, but you go and slide in there hard, it can hurt a little bit.
We've heard about the arm of Trey Lunsford. We were talking before the game with his manager, and he talked about what a strong arm he has, and he makes a good recovery after the pass ball, and that was a little close there.
Is that the Lexington umpire out there, or is he behind?
No, he's behind the plate.
Oh, okay.
The other umpire's from Connecticut.
It did look like he got in there.
That sort of thing would just drive the manager crazy. Bill Hayes over there on the Hagerstown team.
John Buck fouls one off to even the count at 1-1.
setting up a defense, trying to keep them from moving up. Let's just go ahead and have a pass ball and let them have it, guys.
Yeah, the strong arm doesn't work too well for you if you can't catch it first.
That's all the sort of thing that these guys are working on.
Bill Hayes, quite the colorful guy. He 25 years in pro ball. He was the bullpen coach with the Colorado Rockies in '98.
Curveball called strike.
Yeah, we talked with Bill earlier. He had his fungo in his hand. He kind of maybe thought we were a batting tee a couple of times, Kenny.
Well, we kept moving back, John, as Jeff and I talked with him, and he was explaining about hitting to the opposite field and going with the pitch. The fungo bat did get closer and closer to us.
That one does not go the opposite way, but pulled well foul. J.J. Cannon there to field it. Still 1-2 on the Legends catcher, John Buck. John Thomas again trying to escape trouble. Runners at second and third for the Legends with nobody out here in the bottom of the third. There's Rosamond. You can see in your picture the center fielder. Roman Herman is over at third. And there's another curveball popped up into the outfield. Here's a play at the plate. Here comes the runner. The throw is offline, and Herman scores. That makes it 6-0. Of course, the Legends are affiliated here as they lead 6-0 now with the Houston Astros. Their general manager is Jerry Hunsaker, and Greg Stottlemyre caught up with him.
Nice piece of hit right there.
The Houston Astros have 6 affiliates here in the United States, 2 overseas, and Jerry Hunsaker is the general manager of them all. What do you think about your newest addition?
Unbelievable. This is just an incredible situation. I knew it would be. I knew opening night was going to be something special, and it certainly has been so far.
It's amazing how minor league baseball has caught on.
It really has. In the last 10 years, facilities like this have sprung up all over the country, and it's transformed really the small town mom and pop operation to something that's really first class.
Looks like you got a good team here.
Well, I think so. I think that our minor league system stacks up with just about any in baseball, and in particular, this club ought to have some outstanding pitching.
Okay, thanks, Jerry.
My pleasure.
Jerry Hunsaker, he's the general manager of the Houston Astros. He's the Legends boss. Back to you, up in the booth.
Of course, that's where the Legends players hope to get someplace, as Jesse Joyce is now batting. He's got a 1-1 count on him. Of course, the Astros themselves, as Joyce takes a strike on the inside corner. The Astros just got a brand new ballpark themselves in Enron Field.
Seems to be a short porch down there.
It is. It is. I drove by it. I was down there last winter and drove by it. It is short.
Yeah, it's amazing. They went from the cavernous Astrodome to the this much smaller confines of Enron Field, and I'm sure guys like Jeff Bagwell are thrilled about that as the curveball is upstairs.
And Jeff, Parrott, I hate to break this to you, our longtime 20-year friendship here, but most people come out to see hits at the game, see?
They do?
They want to see hits, I'm telling you. The average fan wants to see balls knocked off the wall, so that's why they're building parks the way they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kenny. They like to see them move around a lot. They've tried to expand the strike zone a little bit this year.
And there's a fly ball deep to left field, way back, and gone! And Jesse Joyce has just knocked the first home run for the Lexington Legends in their new ballpark. It's a 2-run shot, and they now lead 8-0.
And the first home run ever hit by the Lexington Legends here at the ballpark has been brought to you by All Sports.
There's your DH for you. A double and a home run his first 2 at-bats. That's what he's supposed to do.
Not a bad way to get yourself in the lineup more often as we hear the cannons go off to celebrate the big bomb by the Legends designated hitter.
Here comes Bill Hayes. It's time for the change, whether it's the pitching count or the run count.
Now,
you're going to see somebody.
I think he's down for the count, I think. He's been knocked out. 10, and you're gone as we look at a replay of this pitch gone.
Jesse Joyce coming into tonight was 0 for 7 coming into this game with 3 strikeouts. But if you just watched his first 2 at-bats, you would have to say he's one of the top power hitters on the team with that clean double and then that home run shot.
And now the shortstop, Thomas Whiteman, steps up. I've heard it said that one of the toughest things to do in baseball is to bat right after a guy hits a home run. Of course, we're going to get a pitching change before that happens.
The new pitcher is Elgin Graham. Sinker, breaking ball guy. Coming in middle relief. There's a lot of spots in the big leagues for middle relievers.
Graham out of Pensacola, drafted last year, the 38th round by the San Francisco Giants. 6'2", 185-pounder.
You know, fellas, we're talking about the DH in this game. We've got 2 National League teams playing. Normally, I would think that the pitchers would hit just for the practice. But in this league, they want everybody to get at-bats that needs at-bats.
Well, you think about it, what would Jesse Joyce be doing tonight if if he wasn't batting.
He'd be hoping for a pinch hit maybe lately.
Yeah.
Maybe later, something like that. But
I wondered about that too, because if they make it to the major leagues, they've gone 4 or 5 years without having taken it at bat, and then suddenly they're facing guys like Randy Johnson in the big leagues. But I guess down here they just want to make sure as many hitters get a look as possible.
Well, the Legends certainly are enjoying tonight and enjoying their early stay here in Lexington, and manager J.J. Cannon talks about being in the heart of the Bluegrass.
The stadium is a beautiful stadium, and our guys are really excited to be here. The fans have really warmed up to us, you know, and the people and the public. So, you know, we're ready to play ball in here, and hopefully we can have a good championship season. I know that when we first got here, you know, we were almost already set. They had someone come down from the housing areas and set us up with apartments. It didn't take us any time to get in those apartments at all. So the guys have been settled for a while. It was almost like they lived here, because when they got here, it was so easy for them to make the transition. So they're happy, and when they're happy, they play well.
Good. Last question. So when Jeff Parrott goes to a strip club, is he bringing out 5?
They're playing pretty well right now, although Whiteman grounds out to shortstop.
Third baseman ranged way over. Made a nice play in front of the shortstop, cut it off, made the shorter throw.
Look on John Thomas. He goes 2 1/3 innings, roughed up for 8 runs on 6 hits. Had a couple of errors behind him, though, that didn't help the matter.
And
Take
again,
another look.
Jeff was saying, and he'd not started a game in 2 years. Was again a good play there.
Yeah, good speed, good range by the third baseman. Set his feet, made the nice throw.
Back to the top of the order for the Legends. John Topolsky has taken a strike from Elgin Graham, now pitching here for the Suns. That next one up high.
This guy's come in the game throwing strikes.
So that's something as well. On most teams, the starters and the closers are the most accomplished pitchers. If you can get into the bullpen as early as the 3rd inning, as the Legends have done, that's something that every hitting coach and every manager says is something he wants to do.
That's right. These guys don't get consistent work out there. Early in the season they may, because the starters are on a pitch count. Nice sinker right there.
Strike 2 on Topolsky. 2-2 now the count.
Hey, there it is. Left-handed batter. Look down at first base. First base ump said he goes around.
He needed help on that, huh?
It's a team game.
Okay.
That one outside. The count's full now.
Well, we talked about that, Kenny. When these guys in the South Atlantic League as umpires, they're traveling in the same car, staying in the same hotel room, sharing meals. They can watch each other's back.
They have to. And like the players themselves, they're hoping that they will move up in the minor league system.
Topolsky dribbles one foul.
A guy that did that here in Lexington, John, was a guy named Vic Travis, who had an outstanding career, and really, had he stayed around one more year, you might remember when Vic retired after long seasons of AAA baseball, 2 or 3 major league umpires quit or were fired that same year. If he'd have stayed around, he would have been on the list. He was one of the top 2 AAA umps around.
Yeah, Topolsky draws a walk here. So a 2-out base runner for the Legends as Felix Escalona, the second baseman, steps up.
Vic would be umpiring behind the plate in our summer league games when I was a kid playing for South Lexington and things, and talking to you as a hitter, wondering what you were doing last night after the game, and then ring you up and laugh at you on the way back to the dugout.
Nice guy.
Yeah, that was great.
That's why we still speak so fondly of him after all these years.
First pitch inside to Escalona. As you see, he singled in 2 at-bats tonight.
I got to believe I bounced a few 59-footers off of him now.
Yeah, at that level, the catchers don't catch all of them, do they?
No.
There's a fastball inside. Escalona's got to pull himself back out of the way out of that one. 2-0. Yeah, I think we see the players and we see their efforts to climb the rungs of the ladder to the big leagues, but the same is true for the coaches and the managers and the umpires and sometimes even like the equipment guys.
Another Lexington legend of a baseball player, John Shelby, who was a starting center fielder on the '83 Orioles team and '88 Dodgers World Championship team. Used to be a manager in the Dodgers system down in San Antonio. Now a coach out in Los Angeles with the club.
We see now Graham struggling with his control. 3-0 the count on Escalona after walking the first batter. There's a strike, and Escalona wasn't even thinking about swinging at that one.
For John to move up like that, it takes a real serious commitment. He's got a lot of kids at home. We're talking being at the ballpark.
There's a look at the strike as Graham finally gets one over. 3-1.
That may have been the new high strike. I believe we're playing by those rules here too. The thing I enjoy about that is a pitcher is going to speed the game up. Make the guys swing the bat. Some guys will sit there and keyhole you all day long.
You see the shin pad on there that Escalona wears is that foul ball that he just hit. Might have struck him there, and that pad is designed to guard against that.
Some of these guys wear more pads than football players.
Full count. And there's a ground ball going toward third. Actually, almost at shortstop. Oh, a bobble there. Did he get it? He made the catch on it, but the runner is safe. Escalona is safe. And Topolsky moves over to second base. So again, miscues continue to plague the Hagerstown Suns. Now the Legends have runners at first and second with 2 outs. Already leading 8-0.
It's the second time we've seen that tonight, a low throw coming from third.
Yeah, he makes, that's the thing too. The guy makes a nice dig on the ball, goes over and gets it, and then he makes an awkward throw, then fails to retire the batter. So Brian Schmidt will step up to the plate. As Kenny talked about, the man who got the Lexington Legends' first ever base hit in their first game in Charleston. Hasn't gotten a hit yet today. He now stands in there.
They got a lot of high hopes for this guy. Like I say, they think he's a real hitting prospect.
Well, they give the error on that one, John, that last play to Chavez, his second of the game. There's 3 errors committed here by the Hagerstown Suns.
So they call it on the third baseman on the throw and not on the first baseman for failing to dig it out. And here's a shot, a line drive into left center field. 1 run's going to score. The next man stops at third, and Schmidt's on first base with an RBI single. It's 9-0. And again, the walk kills the Suns and helps the Legends out. Brian Schmidt racks up an RBI single.
That was a linea, the old frozen rope, right by the shortstop.
And again, going with the pitch, that was a pretty hard fastball. Instead of trying to pull it, he just goes with it just out of the reach of the shortstop and into left center field for an RBI base hit.
Well, you always hear that walks will haunt. An example perfect tonight. Topolsky's walked twice. He's scored twice. Hill has walked once. He's scored. Herman has walked and he's scored. All 4 of the Legends to get on base on balls have come across the plate.
And now Mike Hill stands in. 2 outs, runners first and third.
Watch Schmidt with that last hit. His head stayed so still. He was right on the ball all the way through. If you get a chance to watch these guys, and if you're a kid, fashion your game after some of these guys. They're really good. They know what they're doing. Fundamentals are a start.
Often the game comes down to that. Here's a ground ball going toward third. Chavez fields it cleanly, throws to second cleanly, and finally the Suns get out of the inning, but not until the Legends add some more. They now lead it 9-0 as we have finished 3 innings of play. Mostly Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia. We moved around a lot, though, but...
Phillies fan?
Yeah. Did you ever go to Veterans Park for a ball game? Veterans Stadium, yeah. We saw a game. John Denny pitched, in fact, in the game we saw there.
You remember the guy you asked for an autograph that time and wouldn't let you have one?
You know, for some reason, I was never one of those guys who wanted autographs. I'd rather shake a guy's hand and say hello.
Yeah.
I remember him, though.
Do you?
Yeah, I remember. I think I'd grown up by that point. I might have been in college. When did you pitch in Philly?
Trend over there. 89.
Okay, I was out of college in 89.
Yeah, Kevin Gross.
All right.
He was 13 before the All-Star break the year before. And then I went 12 out of the bullpen.
Yeah? You get back-to-back 12 in 4 years?
12 and 4, 12 and 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Vulture.
Do we have... Coming back for the top of the 4th inning. Yes, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. All right, at least I'm not singing. Be glad about that. But some of the entertainment outside the stadium before the game.
That guy sounded good.
Yes, I should have kept my mouth shut and let him play, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I was listening over it. Roger Bondurant, a well-known musician here in town. Also, if you come out to a Legends game, He's the man with that Jimi Hendrix sounding guitar version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game that they play on the big screen here before.
All right, Brian Gann is the center fielder. Check that, he's the second baseman, I beg your pardon. He struck out his first time up. It's Nick Roberts. Oops, there's a shot. Hit to left center field. Rosamond going over, and he takes it. And,
left fielder may have lost that one in the light.
Yeah, it dropped in there for a hit. I should mention also, we're in a booth here, and my view is partially blocked by a camera, so not that I'm blaming anybody, but I had trouble following.
It's the first time for the Legends under these lights. There may be some spots they have to look for, but this time of night, it's really hard to pick him up. Let's see what his reaction is coming off of it.
Topolsky looks like he has it coming from left field. Rosamond coming from center, and then they looked at each other, and actually Rosamond, the center fielder, is closer to it when it hits the turf.
So it just drops in front of him. A ball that could have been caught was not. At this point, I guess it's good. The Legends have a 9-run cushion as Roberts throws a strike to Davey Santos, the first baseman.
If you're pitching and you see the outfielders look at each other, back up a base.
Yep.
It's only the third hit given up by Roberts, and that was certainly a soft one.
There's one smacked through the hole between first and second for a base hit. The runner does not try to go to third.
Right, so nobody out. You certainly don't want to make the first or third out. And if you're down by 8 runs, or 9 runs actually, it's hard to keep up. Then you're going to play them one at a time.
We've seen twice now the Legends have 2 guys circle the ball and then neither one of them catch it. There was an incident back in the first inning right behind first base when that happened. Now look at this. Just missing the runner there. If it hits the runner, then obviously he's out.
Not much reaction time there for a runner.
That was a pretty well struck ball. Now Dan Trumbull, the designated hitter, bats with the Suns making their first threat of this game here in the top of the 4th inning. So you see Brian Gann in the shot there taking his lead off of second base. That pitch up high. Now Roberts loses composure for a moment. 2-0 count. And I think even though you got guys on base with a 9-run lead, Jeff, you just want to get the ball over the plate. Make the guys hit it. Make the Suns have to make plays.
Yeah, but as a pitcher, it's hard to pitch with that in your mind, that you just want to make pitches and let them hit it. You should stay with your game plan, not worry about the score. But of course, the pitching coach or somebody will come out, hey, we're way ahead, throw strikes. Well, no kidding, coach.
Like the idea had never occurred to you. You know something you notice too, this we see in the Arizona Diamondbacks park, is that patch of dirt going straight from the pitching mound to the home plate circle. Seems to make it look like it's closer than it is. There's a fastball fouled away and out of play along the right field line.
I'm thinking they did that just to save the wear and tear on the infield. A lot of balls going up that way. These guys come out and they take what they call PFP, pitcher's fundamental practice, almost every day. And it's just some of the stuff that they do just to hone their game, get their skills together.
Trumbull at the plate now is the guy that Hagerstown would most like up there. In the last couple of games, he's been 3 for 8 with a homer and an RBI. And as manager Bill Hayes was telling us before the game, is one of the few guys that really has power in his lineup.
And after several fastballs, a curveball comes up, and Trumbull got ahead of it and fouled it away. And after falling behind 2-0, Roberts has come back to even the count at 2-2.
If I'm not mistaken, Bill Hayes told us this guy has legit power. And anytime you get that sort of compliment coming from your coach, you can launch it a long way.
Which he didn't say about too many of the guys that surround the order, the 3 and 5 and 6 hitters, but he does like his cleanup man here in Trumbull.
And there's a foul ball going off his leg. That'll feel better when it stops hurting. And again, still 2-2. Jeff, is it hard to keep your focus as a pitcher when you are pitching with such a big lead?
Yeah, it really can be, because like I say, the variables come into your mind that just need to get the ball over, just need to make them keep it in play. You've got a long delay between innings. Sometimes you can get tight a little bit out there, and maybe your concentration can break. But this guy's a good quality pitcher. I look for him to get it going, or keep it going.
Swing and a miss, struck him out. So Trumbull goes down swinging for the first out here in the top of the 4th.
Nice slider just off the plate. Next.
That's 5 strikeouts now for Nick Roberts. Talked about how he's a control pitcher, but he's obviously pumping the gas tonight, blowing it by guys at times.
That was a beauty. That paints the black, doesn't it, right there on that one?
Looks like a strike coming down the middle. You commit, the ball's not there.
Just outside.
Brian Carter fouls one away. He's the next hitter for the Suns, their left fielder.
Until this inning, Roberts had only had 2 base runners. Of course, he has 2 on there now. That's how strong Nick Roberts has been. Still going here in the 4th inning.
5 shutout innings in his first start of the year, Thursday night at Charleston, allowing only 3 hits. Got a no decision in a game the Legends eventually lost. That pitch down low. 1-1 the count now. Yeah, I think the Legends so far have to be very pleased with their starting rotation. They've got good production. The only game they lost was a 2-0 loss.
A game in which they give up no earned runs in that loss.
Yeah, and then 2 of the other games, Charleston scores only 1 run. Swing and a fly ball going to center field. And Rosamond, he stepped back and then comes in to make the catch on the play.
I'm not sure he picked that ball up right off the plate. But
yeah,
no, I don't think he did.
He's had a shaky inning. There was a ball that dropped in front of him, and that one he started heading backwards and then came in to make the catch.
Sometimes you can react to the swing a little bit more. The ball was kind of in on the hitter.
It did sound impressive, but as you see, it did get in close to the hands, which obviously takes a lot of the power out of it.
Yesterday, while we were walking around talking with Brad Redmond, the principal owner of the Lexington Legends, he was pointing out we were watching the flags in center field on the scoreboard. They were blowing out, but he said the wind swirls a bit from what he's noticed here in the infield portion, right back to probably where the skin meets the grass. You'll see the blowing out there in center field, out toward mostly right center right now.
I think we can see it here. You see the flags on the right are blowing one direction. The flags on the left at the top of the scoreboard are blowing another. As Mark Walker's batting, and he swung and missed in the first pitch.
The way the air comes over the stadium. Did you break that down, Jeff, with the physics and things that we tried to yesterday?
There's another one in the air.
Yeah, but it looks like the inning
very
over.
Shallow center field. Rosamond is there, makes the catch. So Rosamond settles down. He makes a couple of putouts. And the Legends get out of the inning without allowing a run. They lead it 9-0 going to the bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, I guess we have to. What are you shooting with Jeannie? I guess.
Shooting with Jeannie and Mike.
Oh, so you're here for the whole time? Yeah. After the game, I may run down there and just try to catch a couple of the players. Where are you going to be? Do you know?
10, third baseline.
Okay. What's your cell phone? I'll try to call you.
All right. If not, Devin should be around. He's going up in the helicopter right about now.
Okay.
And then he may be done after that.
All right.
Looks like we've got a Legends ticket announcement. Graphic with us, so I gotta wait on David for it. It's right, I've got it right here, but I don't know when we're gonna do it. David said we're waiting on it. We're supposed to come and see it.
Okay.
I tell you, we'll never have the Legends' first stolen base. They've only stolen one all year.
Well, they probably won't run.
They won't.
Season's best. Shop the rest. Then come to the best.
Welcome back to Applebee's Stadium. Just named today by the Legends. They announced on the field before the game that they had reached a sponsorship agreement with a restaurant chain for the rights to name the stadium as third baseman Ramon Herman steps in. The Legends already leading 9-0. Elgin Graham in his second inning of work in relief of John Thomas, who the Legends knocked out. And speaking of knocked out, unbelievable. The left fielder just watches that baby go. Bye-bye, baby. A home run for Ramon Herman. We talked about his power, and he shows it again there. 10-0, Legends lead.
My goodness, that might have made the railroad tracks out there, fellas. Look like Herman.
That's got to be, now Jeff, I know you're a former pitcher, so you hate this, but that's got to be the sweetest thing for a hitter, to just take the biggest swing you can take and to fully connect on it. I'm sure when we see the replay of this, he got every bit of that pitch.
Looked like Herman stepped in the bucket a little bit, leaning that way, got him a pitch up and in, and really hit it on the screws.
There's not a slaughter rule here in the South Atlantic League, is there? Remember Little League, if you got more than a 10-run lead, they had to stop the game? I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it's all self-inflicted. The pitchers do that to themselves after they go off the field.
It was a sweet swing for Herman, and that's the power that predicted him when we talked last week to Jayhawk Owens, who was talking about just how strong this guy is.
He's obviously showing that. Rosamond fouled off the first pitch. Michael Rosamond, the legend center fielder, now up. Here's another guy. He can poke the ball a long way when he makes connections with it.
This guy's a pretty raw talent. Swings it a lot, strikes out quite a bit, but he's very fast for his size.
Chased one right there.
Really
Says he loves center field. He came out of high school. He was a shortstop. He originally drafted there, then went to college at Ole Miss. The infield was set. He said, "Coach, put me in the outfield." And he says, "I've never come back in." 2 for 2 tonight so far. Curveball. He's out in front of that one, and he goes down swinging. So Michael Rosamond, as he did more than a third of his at-bats last year, strikes out. First out here in the 4th inning for the Legends.
Well, if you look at the Legends, that's kind of typical of the way they go. I believe they scored 9 runs on 14 strikeouts yesterday in the ball game. That's some great pitching and some bad pitching.
Well, one thing, they aren't a shy team. They're going to take their cuts.
Exactly. Don't get cheated.
John Buck doesn't get cheated right there. He takes a big hack at that one, but goes through it. Strike 1 on the Legends catcher.
That lowered the temperature a couple of degrees.
Whew.
John Buck suffering through a little bit of an injury right now. He's having a hard time holding the bat tightly. It's not affecting his throwing and his catching, but it is a little bit hard on his hitting, they tell me.
There's another one of those 59-foot pitches.
And he wasn't biting.
See John Buck, another player from Utah. Nick Roberts, John Buck.
When you got a catcher out there, he's a defensive position. If he can catch it and throw it, that's great. Any hitting offense that you get is just a bonus.
That pitch down low. 3-1. We talked about earlier how John likes playing defense, likes that he's there, making the calls with the pitch, working with the pitcher, having to be involved in every pitch. But it's such a demanding position that it's hard to focus yourself on batting. But he draws a walk right here. And that'll bring up Jesse Joyce, who slammed a home run earlier in the game. First Legends home run in this ballpark. The designated hitter, who also plays in the outfield, but he's not working as the designated hitter.
Joyce right now a leading candidate for star of the game with 3 RBI, a double, and a home run in his 2 plate appearances.
This is one of those instances of making your manager look brilliant.
There's a ground ball fouled out of play.
Whether he picked it out of a hat or if he knew what this guy was up to, we don't know. But JJ looks good with a home run, a double coming out of number 11 so far.
Hard to believe. Just about an hour or so ago, he was looking for his first hit of the season. It was hitless in Charleston.
Next pitch outside.
Joyce at the plate got his front heel up off the ground just to keep his balance back, trying to stay back, let the ball get to him. Spinning on the back foot's what helps you get it over that left field fence.
He's an 8th round pick out of Cal State Los Angeles, drafted in June of '98, had his career best year last year in terms of games and at bats, doubles, walks, and was perfect in 7 steal attempts.
And he's ahead in the count here, 2-1. Whoops, inside. Did it hit him? No.
Just missed him.
Moving to second on the play was Buck.
And you gotta like Trey Lunsford. He knows he has a good arm, doesn't he?
He doesn't mind showing it.
He doesn't mind showing it a bit.
Well, lots of times the catcher would eat the ball in that play, but maybe he knew that John Buck, the opposing catcher, was the guy on base and it was worth going for it. Or maybe he didn't think that.
I believe he likes to throw.
I think he likes to show it off, and certainly John Buck, the catcher, as well does, as he picked Jason Ellison off back in the first with a nice snap throw down to first base.
Joyce takes a strike, strike 2. Count is full on him. So he's got a runner in scoring position.
We had mentioned before about 5 guys on the team from the Dominican Republic, another hot spot for baseball. 7 guys from California.
This team has 3 guys on it from Utah as that one goes out of play.
Do you ever wonder what it would have been like, Jeff, had you been able to play baseball, say, as early as February to start your season and play as late as September or so?
Isn't that something? But you know what? These people around here in Lexington, Kenny, have really done a good job of getting year-round baseball going for these kids, and it's showing. I mean, we got scouts coming.
Full count, 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. I think Joyce thought it was outside, started taking a stroll to first base. Of course, Legends games are a great place for affordable family fun and group outings. For tickets, call the Legends box office at 859-422-RUNS. That's 422-7867. As we talked about earlier, prices range from $1 to $7 to get in here.
And when you come to a game, go ahead and come early. During batting practice and those times, great time to get autographs, get free baseballs, foul balls, home runs. Got a lot of places to eat here. Have your family come over and have dinner.
It's a good way to see the things that go on before a game and some of the work that goes into making these players as good as they are. As Thomas Whiteman, the shortstop, steps in, strokes one. It's going to be picked up by the third baseman Chavez. He retires the man and retires the side. We've played 4 innings and the Legends lead it 10-0.
It's been fun.
She's tough to look at, isn't she? Power packed and stacked. But she also knows she has the physical men like. Yeah, she's hard.
They're gonna do kids on the carousel coming out of this break. Do you guys need anything?
I'm gonna at some point try to escape for just like after the next inning, half inning. I'm gonna run down and see if I can spend my little food voucher.
Legends half with us.
See the next thing. We're hey.
Pablo Picasso once said it takes a long time to become young, but he couldn't paint a better picture than that, could he? Kids at the park enjoying a night of baseball, the first pro baseball game in Lexington history, and we're glad that you're with us here on News Channel 36 for the Legends opener. We will be surprised, though, if someone tags that about 480 feet to hit that Maker's Mark ball, which has already become a landmark, an instant landmark when it was put up. The Legends 10-0 leading over the Hagerstown Suns. Runs in every inning for Lexington so far.
I would be curious to see just how far Ramon Herman's shot went through that last inning.
And the first man, Trey Lunsford, pops it up to Felix Escalona, and there's one away as Nick Roberts continues to be tough, now going into the 5th inning.
Ran into some trouble in the last inning with a couple of guys on and nobody out, but he got out of that jam, and that's really the only trouble he has faced so far in this game.
Angel Chavez comes up, ground out in the 3rd to Escalona, and he's also had some trouble himself in the field. 2 throwing errors on the evening that have given a couple of runs Lexington's way. That's fouled back out of play.
Chavez is known as an inside-out hitter. What that basically means is he tries to keep the barrel of the bat back where he can protect the inside part of the strike zone. He's going to take an inside pitch and hit it to right, as well as an outside pitch. And believe me, it's hard to pitch to a guy like that because, you know, they're just going to make contact and spray the ball. They want to hit the 200-foot bomb.
Roberts continues to work ahead of the batters and tries to tease him with that 0-2 offing, makes it 1-2. Lexington with 3 runs in the bottom of the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. That one's popped up in foul ground, now drifting over to first, and taking it is the third baseman, Herman. And there are 2 men up and 2 men down, and the ball hasn't even gotten past the dirt into the outfield yet in this inning.
Better communication that time between Herman and John Buck. They were both in position. Usually the third baseman has an easier time tracking the ball, and he takes it. You see, we're looking at Herman as he comes in.
We talked about that swirling wind. Definitely in foul territory. Up there.
Yeah, that
back
was a fair
in
ball.
territory.
But you saw John Buck there, and Herman called him off.
Termas Garrido up. Garrido a base hit. One of only 4 given up by Roberts. That was back in the third.
Once these guys catch those pop-ups, they get the glove up so they can give with it. They don't reach for the ball coming down. It might pop out on them. That's something they learn early in their career.
1 ball and 1 strike to the Hagerstown shortstop. Both these teams, Lexington and Hagerstown, in the Northern Division of the 16-team South Atlantic League, the Class A League, better known to its friends as Sally.
You know, these guys can be a lot closer to the big leagues than we think. I was watching the Dodgers play last night. There's a left-handed pitcher named Nunez, happened to pitch in this league last year.
Yeah, right out of the Sally League to the majors, you tell me.
That's right, straight from the Sally to the big league.
Not unheard of for guys to go from single A to the big leagues. There's somebody in our near vicinity, I think, who's done that.
And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Take a look at Roberts on that.
Didn't look too comfortable there, did it?
No, it looked like
he got a bad call. Was he favoring, or was he just upset that he didn't get a call?
Well, he's working in the 5th. He's got 2 outs. He can take his W and go home.
Yeah, this has to be a lot. This is a good payback for the last game in which they failed to score for him when he pitched in Charleston. 5 shutout innings.
They've more than made up for it tonight as Garrido hangs in there. As you take a look at some of the 7,000, a sellout for the opening game. I expect they'll have a close to sellout all week long here for their first big week of baseball.
Nick Roberts still throwing that inside fastball, speeding their bats up. That'll carry over till the next time he faces these guys, too.
There's the 2-2.
James the guy.
Foul ground, and again, out of play.
And again,
hey, nice catch. Nice catch.
There we go.
Give that fan of contract.
Sorry I hit you in the back of the head, ma'am, to make the catch.
But again, we see how little foul territory there is here and how friendly that is to the hitters.
And the ability of our Lexington people and Central Kentucky folks with the glove.
You said when you pitched for the Montreal Expos, as the count now goes full 3-2 with 2 out here in the top of the 5th, you rarely saw anyone make a catch of a foul ball in the stands.
No, it was usually a knockdown with the pad. But
kind of like a goalie?
It's a hockey town up there.
Hey, rings him out, gets him looking on that one. Roberts 3 up, 3 down. He now has 6 strikeouts, and we go to the bottom of the 5th with the score: Lexington 10, Hagerstown nothing.
Is it a new catcher? 35. We don't even have it. Kip, you got a name on the catcher? Got a new catcher. Double switch, I believe. We don't have him on our roster.
I can hear that story after the first out.
Yeah, I got that. I'm just trying to figure out who the new catcher is.
We got a new catcher, too.
Oh, wait, here. No, I think we got it here. 35. No, we don't. We got 15. Yeah, let's see if we can catch up who that new catcher is for them, or...
Pitcher number 13.
Will Malarich.
And you got a new pitcher also. Number 13, Will Mallory.
Rick with a K sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
And welcome back. That's not the new pitcher for Hagerstown, but he's entertained the audience as we go to the bottom of the fifth. That's what minor league baseball is all about. Kenny Rice along with Jeff Parrott and John McQuiston, and we're glad that you could be with us tonight here on News Channel 36. Jose Sarita is the new catcher for Hagerstown as we start the bottom of the fifth, and we have a new pitcher in Will Mallory.
Mallory, a left-handed pitcher, kind of the specialist type, known for his breaking ball.
25 years old. That's fairly old for single A. The Legends have a player, infielder John Tobin, who is 26. And I asked him, is time running out for you? He said, well, yeah, you can't play single A ball forever.
That's exactly right.
But he also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say, he also said, but there's guys in the big league still playing at 40, so I have time.
That's right.
John Topolsky will lead things off. He has walked twice and scored 2 runs tonight, as the top of the order is up there for the Lexington Legends.
Now, these guys have the amateur draft coming up in June, too. That's going to put 30 or 35 more guys in the organization. You better be showing some numbers by then, because there'll be some movement.
Well, we see with there are 5 single A level leagues. There are only 3 double A level leagues. So obviously there are a lot fewer double A players than single A players. The ranks begin to thin out. So a lot of the guys we watched tonight, some of them might make the majors someday. Some of them might be accountants someday.
0-2 misses outside, a ball and 2 strikes to the hottest of the Lexington Legends from Houston, Texas, coming into this.
Hard to pick out one guy as being hot in a 10-0 game, isn't it?
Yeah, coming into this game, Topolsky in Charleston reached base all 5 times in that 20-7 shellacking. Yesterday he had 2 hits and 3 RBI, and of course he hit the first home run on Saturday in the first game of the doubleheader, the first home run in Lexington Legends history, and he leads the Sally League with 9 RBI coming into tonight. As he takes a look at strike 3, Topolsky goes down.
Mallory, as a left-handed specialist, just kind of took him to school right there.
And now let's go to Greg Stottlemyre, who has one of the many VIPs on hand tonight. Greg?
2-1. South Atlantic League, 16 teams in 7 states. John Henry Moss is the president. Seen a lot of new ballparks in your league.
Yes, I have. We have had 10 new ballparks in the last 7 years, and this is one of the great ones. Perhaps might be the greatest that we have to this date. My next visitation will be in Lakewood, New Jersey on Thursday evening for a new stadium, the $25 million stadium there.
People love minor league baseball, and you can tell Lexington loves it.
Oh, well, you're a great city, and we're very happy to be here. I speak on behalf of all the memberships, and we're happy. We appreciate the ownership and the leadership that Alan Stein has given this operation, and we're happy with it.
We're happy to have you with us, Mr. President, as you take a look now at Felix Escalona, and hope you enjoyed the interview and the blast to left center for Escalona, the 3rd home run tonight off a bat of a Lexington legend. And the home team is up now 11-0, and Brian Schmidt is back and gets hit on that pitch that got away.
That was a curveball.
That was a curveball. No, they weren't pushing him back with a curve.
Yeah, the crowd's booing him, but obviously Schmidt did not take offense, and you can tell by the reaction of the pitcher that it was clearly something he did not want to do.
So Will Malarick hits Brian Schmidt and gives the Legends yet another base runner. It has been a typical night. We say typical in the way that the Legends have been scoring runs over the last 3 games. It's hard to believe they didn't score, isn't it, in that first game? They scored 35 runs in their last 3 games against Charleston. And tonight now already 11 runs here in the 5th inning. A home run by Escalona, the 3rd homer hit tonight. Herman with a home run and Joyce with a 2-run shot. Schmidt now on first after being hit by a pitch. And Big Mike Hill is up, a man capable of taking it deep. He walked and scored a run, ground out, and hit into a fielder's choice. Big cut on that one.
I think just about every way you can reach base, the Legends have done so tonight. Now with a guy getting hit by a pitch.
The 3rd inning, they batted around, getting 4 runs on just 3 hits, but there were a couple of walks in there as well. Kind of left the scorecard looking like a Jackson Pollock painting, trying to keep up with who was up and who was coming up next. inside, gets away from the catcher, and going down to second base easily is Brian Schmidt.
How many times has the catcher failed to hang on to a pitch?
That is the third pass ball tonight against Hagerstown catchers. Jose Sarita, the new catcher coming in this inning, replacing Trey Lunsford. There's another look at it.
Ball's off the plate pretty far inside. Might have got lost it in his uni a little bit, or just jabbed for it. Cut him off the end of the glove. Oh,
looked like it hit him there. He just didn't hang on to it.
Yeah, he kind of got a thumb piece in there.
A ball, a strike with one man out, and a runner Schmidt at second base for Hill. There's a dribbler to third, foul.
These catchers take a real beating on their thumbs back there. You get a righty throwing a hard sinker to a catcher, and it just starts spraining it backwards, and every time you get a hit on it, it just gets weak.
It's a demanding position physically, a catcher. You're down there, you got to squat down every time. You got to stand back up. It's hard on your knees. It's hard, and then you get foul tips, and all the padding you have doesn't always work.
At one time, not so affectionately called the tools of ignorance the catcher would put on.
I would love to argue with that, but
no, I never said that to a catcher. I'm just saying that was kind of the standard. 1-2 is the count to Mike Hill.
And I'm saying that I think that's exactly what they are.
Well, you know, we've seen with the Astros, they've taken guys like Craig Biggio was a catcher when he came up, and they liked his hitting so much they did not want to wear him out behind the plate, so they moved him to second base.
Yeah, there was talk of that with Mike Piazza, as a matter of fact. Trying to move him over to first when he was with the Dodgers, but they had a Carroll's guy that was holding it up pretty good, and then they moved the salary, and he's still behind the plate. But if you watch those guys in the big leagues, as they get older, they certainly slow down.
That 2-2 off-speed delivering just misses inside, and Mike Hill has a full count with that man Schmidt down at second base, and the Legends trying for even more. They already have another run across the plate on the Escalona home run. There's Schmidt, who got on after being hit by a pitch. And Mallory's full count delivery gets the outside corner. Hill goes down looking.
Hill's got that smile on his face. He thought he had to walk.
Talked about speed up rules. There you go.
Yeah, an umpire is less likely to give you a walk when your team's already leading 11-0. This pitch is close, maybe outside.
So often the pitch is called just on the visual perception. If it looks like it's a strike from the stands, the umpire is going to call it.
Another thing, we talked about the new strike zone. In big league baseball, they wanted the umpires not to call those outside strikes that obviously Rick Malarick is getting right here, and to call instead the higher strike, which would narrow the strike zone but make it taller, I guess.
Yeah, part of what was making people mad is the guys like in Atlanta, Javi Lopez setting 6 inches off the plate, and they're painting it right in the middle of the mitt for a strike.
Yeah, if you don't like the Braves, it's hard to watch Tom Glavine pitch because he always gets those pitches.
Ramon Herman is at the plate. Herman with a sacrifice to drive in a run back in the first. He walked and scored in the third, and then a blast for a home run in the fourth.
I'm not sure that home run ball has landed yet.
No balls and 2 strikes to the Legends' third baseman.
This would be a rarity, a quick inning for the Suns. Say the Legends have scored in every inning so far.
This guy's kind of a left-handed specialist. He was really hard on Topolsky to start the inning, dropping down to the side, curveballs and all that, but against a righty, that's not as effective. Oh, my.
That one is well hit to deep left. It's a possibility. It's a reality. The second home run of the night for Ramon Herman.
Like I say, they get a good look at that pitch coming from a lefty right there.
Now, that was a cheap one compared to his first one. That one actually stayed in the building.
Didn't sound real solid, but I promise he's not taking it.
We again talked about his strength, the guy who doesn't even hit it completely on, and he still gets it out of the park.
A 2-run homer off the bat of the third baseman, Ramon Herman. And watch this compact stroke. He reaches and gets it all and puts it over the left field fence. A 2-run shot, his second home run of the night, the second one in this inning for the Legends, and now it is a 13-0 game.
Herman is really strong. Gets his hips out of the way, just lets his hands do the hitting.
Hits for power and for average. Last year in rookie ball, hit .320.
Might be a future in the game for a guy like that.
Yeah, he might make something out of it. You never know. Michael Rosamond.
Rosamond, a walk and, or rather a base hit and a score back in the third inning of play. Little bouncer. That goes foul.
A blast and then a bloop. Mallory might be peeking for another lefty to come up here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, Escalona tagged him and Herman tagged him. You can imagine that some of those guys, like Rosamond here, who has the ability to get it in the gap, good gap power, and possibly take it over the fence, was dying to get up there.
Yeah, I imagine now, if you're a hitter for the Legends, you just can't wait to get to the plate.
The main hope you have as a pitcher pitching against a team like that is maybe they're tired.
Tired of swinging, huh?
That's right. Arms get a little rubbery.
Of course, Rosamond just had to make the sprint down to first base to no avail.
And here's the 1-1.
Clocked that one pretty well, but foul.
Foul down the right field line.
Outfielders may need to be careful going after a ball in the corner. The paint's still a little wet over in the green spot there.
There's 2 men down here in the 5th inning, and once again, it's been a good inning for the Legends. They have 3 runs across. Solo homer by Escalona, a 2-run homer by Herman. And Malrick is trying to make this not look like a slow-pitch softball game, and there's a base hit up the middle by Rosamond. The Legends now have 11 hits on the night, and yet another base runner.
Nice try by the second baseman there, but it just got under his glove. Don't know if he'd had time to get up and throw him out anyway. Base hit.
Goes right with the pitch. And Mike Rosamond has his 2nd hit of the night.
Kind of dove over the ball a little bit. Like I say, though, he's up in the hole. He's still got to stand up and throw it. Rosamond can run.
With 2 out, a runner on first. This brings up the catcher, John Buck, who had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run back in the 3rd. Watch out there, Dwayne Verini, one of our many fine cameramen down the 3rd base dugout way.
Look at, not even phased. Didn't even turn away.
Man didn't even flinch.
Unbelievable.
We got a tough crew.
Or do we just have to wake him up?
He got a tough crew.
Just kidding. There's Dwayne.
If you've just joined us, where have you been? The fireworks started early, and they've continued throughout the evening here. It's 13-0 in favor of the Legends. 2 out, a man on first, and John Buck looks at strike 2.
Gotta love a tough kid like this. Found out from the coaching staff that he was hurting in his hand, but he shows no signs of it up there. Throw a little dirt on it, maybe mix in some spit and keep going.
That's because he's a catcher.
It's also because there's 2 other catchers, and you never know when you leave the lineup that you get back.
There's a grounder that Chavez cannot pick up, and Buck is on first. Rosamond goes down to 2nd. 2 men on with 2 out. And Jesse Joyce is coming to the plate, and it's been a tough day for Angel Chavez down at 3rd base. Here this one is, and he just cannot scoop up going to his glove side. The 4th error on the night, and he's made 3 of them.
Showing pretty good range in getting over there, but sometimes it's better just to let the shortstop take care of that and try to make the throw from the hole rather than obviously letting the guy get on first base because you can't field it cleanly.
Jesse Joyce, the designated hitter, up, a double and scored a run, drove in a run in the 1st, had a 2-run homer in the 3rd, was caught looking in the last inning. Huge night for Jesse Joyce.
You know, we've seen balls hit all over the park so far, all over the infield, not seen any bad bounces. Congratulations to the ground crew, guys. It seems like they've got her in pretty good shape.
Yeah, Chavez has no excuses over there.
No, once you throw it, it's all you.
No, the field looks immaculate. Looks wonderful.
You know, we talk about a game of inches. The play at 2nd base just then, the base hit just under his glove. That one he could have picked it up for the quick out at 2nd, but instead we're still playing.
2-0 the count to the designated hitter, Jesse Joyce. Got the outside corner, 2-1.
Again, he's getting that outside pitch.
The umpire's trying to speed it up.
Yeah.
Just keep throwing it over there.
I imagine the strike zone gets higher and wider as the game progresses in a game like this.
The way these Legends are going, they may adjust, though.
Well, the home plate ump may be enjoying himself. He's a hometown boy. He may enjoy his stay here before the folks in Lexington. Goes with the pitch and grounds it foul. Let's take a look at Jesse Joyce back in the big 3rd inning when he tags this one high and deep to left. A 2-run homer, part of a 4-run inning for the Legends.
I think he just kind of threw his hands at it, got an inside pitch.
And that was the first homer hit by a Legend in this park. Little bouncer out in front of the plate, and up with it is Malarick, and they will finally get out of the inning. But more damage done. Escalona, a solo shot, a 2-run homer by Herman. the Legends leave 2 men on base. They get 4 hits in the inning, and now after 5 complete, it's Lexington 13 and Hagerstown nothing. How we doing?
He said good one time. He must be getting drunk.
Do you still have that where the umpire, I'd like to say the umpire's name one more time.
Okay, we're doing a Stottlemyre the first out. First name.
Season's best. Shop the rest. Then come to the best.
Welcome back. The first pro baseball game in Lexington, and the Lexington Legends just love it here in Central Kentucky. They're up 13-0 over the Hagerstown Suns in this South Atlantic League game as we go into the top of the 6th, and Hagerstown trying to get something going against Nick Roberts, who has been strong since the first pitch for the Legends. As you see some of the 7,000 here, it is a packed house for opening night. We're glad that you could be with us here on News Channel 36. Jason Ellison will start things off. The 1, 2, and 3 hitters due up here in the 6th inning for Hagerstown. They haven't been able to get much off Roberts. He scattered 4 hits on the night, struck out 6 men, and is yet to give up a walk.
Wonder if Roberts is on a pitch count early in the season. Oftentimes early in the season, pitchers will have a limit until they build up full arm strength.
They really are. Charlie Taylor, the pitching coach, mentioned one thing is not so important sometimes at the pitch count if it's down, but how many times they get up and down. Going into the game 6 or 7 times will probably be enough for him tonight. I would think more like 7 as well as he's throwing.
Ryan Jamison went 7 innings yesterday. I believe that's the longest stint for a Legends pitcher so far this season.
Here's the 1-1.
Pretty good pitch.
I was going to say that if they're going to call the ones 6 inches off the plate, you got to call the ones that are over too, don't you?
Our umpiring crew tonight includes Brent Persinger behind the
like
plate.
A pitcher.
From Lexington, KY, played at Tates Creek High School and then on at Northern Kentucky University. He's getting his pro umpiring career off to a start in the South Atlantic League. We wish him the best.
He specifically requested a chance to work this game, the debut in his hometown, and was obviously granted.
Here's the 2-2 to Ellison. Got him looking.
Nice breaking ball in the outside corner.
Now let's check in with our man in the stands, Greg Stottlemyre.
First ever home run was hit in the 3rd inning. It came here into the stands in left field, and we've got the story. We've tracked it down. It came off your hands, right?
That's correct. It came off this hand right here.
And did you have the baby in your hands at the time?
I did not at the time. She was standing right over here with her mother, and I had to jump over this stand right here to get the ball.
So the souvenir lost, the baby saved, and here's my buddy Drew Felder from Georgetown, and you got a big souvenir, Drew.
Yep.
Tell me about the big find.
Well, it was kind of hard to get it. I had to push this one guy out of the way to get it, but my friend almost got it too, but I had to get it out of his hands.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
I need to take it to the player.
All right.
Yeah, no, I'll give it back to you. You going to try to sell it, or are you going to keep it?
Probably keep it.
All right, that's Drew Feltner. That is a souvenir, the first ever home run here hit at Legends Ballpark. Let's go back up to the booth.
Thanks, Greg. Off the glove of Roberts. Escalona up with it over to first to get Brian Gann. Nice play by Escalona. Roberts slowed it down. Escalona had to make it a little quicker than normal to get the 4-3 out.
Love the spirit, though. Had to push a guy out of the way to get that home run ball.
Drew, way to go. Congratulations there, pal, to get that home run ball. Don't let Greg Stottlemyre take it away from you. And we will be checking eBay later this week to see if anything's on the auction block there from a Legends season opener.
There you go. If you're ever in the big leagues and you happen to catch someone's first home run ball, hold out, negotiate. They offer uniforms, bats, balls, tickets. Just keep holding out until you can get what you want.
Get your best deal.
Exactly.
Are you saying that applies only to the majors?
Probably.
We're trying to get you a cap here, Drew. 1-1.
These guys have one uni, one hat. One pair of shoes. You're not going to get equipment from them.
And they only make it between $23,000 and $28,000 a year, so it's not like they can offer a big cash reward to you.
That tears me up. I can't believe it.
D.V. Santos up with a base hit. No, up with it and firing is the shortstop, Thomas Whiteman.
It looked like it was going to sneak through there, didn't it?
Whiteman stays with it, smoothly makes the play, and it is a 1-2-3 inning once again for Nick Roberts. We go into the bottom of the 6th. Roberts still has a shutout going against the Suns. Obviously, someone heard that Picasso and youth thing earlier. They're working on a painting here, which happens to be a young man's head as well.
Yeah, that looks great.
Can't wait till your kid comes to the park, can you, Jeff?
That's enthusiasm. I mean, we've almost got a fair-type atmosphere out here tonight. You've got entertainment, you've got a tremendous sound system working, carousels, great food.
Well, we talked about that earlier, about how it's got to be more than a baseball game. People bringing their families out, they want to make it an entertaining night for them, so they'll want to come back.
It is a beautiful facility. It costs $13.5 million, probably a little more than that. And Alan Stein, of course, helped put the package together. Brad Redmond is the principal owner. This is a privately owned park. Only about 20% of the minor league parks around America are privately owned. And these guys have done a great job of putting this package together and getting pro baseball at last to Lexington. Tommy Whiteman, the shortstop, who made a nice play to end the top of the 5th, starts off the Legends here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And double and scored a run. He looks at strike one. Larry Glover, the play-by-play radio man for the Legends, telling me last week he thought he reminded him a bit of Dave Concepcion in the body style. You might remember some other lanky center field shortstops who could play well. There's a clean single up the middle. Mark Belanger is one that comes to mind. Has that kind of rangy body and can cover some ground, except I don't remember Belanger ever smacking one up the middle just like that.
No, Mark would choke up and just punch it around the field. That was right. Nice pure base hit right there, right over the pitcher's head.
Marty Marion, who played for the Cardinals back in the late 40s, another one of those great kind of rangy guys who could cover a lot of ground, but also didn't smack too many up the middle like that. We go back to the top of the order with John Topolsky, who takes it high, ball one. He walked in the first and scored a run, ground out in the second, walked and scored a run in the third, and was caught looking in the last inning.
Topolsky would like to put a little better at bat on this guy this time. He needs to keep his shoulder in and watch this sidearm curveball this guy throws.
There's another one right there.
Oh. Whiteman keeps it going, by the way, with that single. At least one hit in every inning for the Lexington Legends.
They've also scored in every inning so far.
Yeah, Topolsky, his heart's in it, but his bottom's just not going to stay there. Maybe it will on this one.
Malarick with the 1-1.
No, it didn't, did it?
That's nasty. I don't care who the left-hander is that's up there hitting. You start dropping down and getting the ball to stay on the outside part of the plate. That's tough.
One of the famous at-bats between a left-handed pitcher and a left-handed hitter was in the All-Star game one year when Randy Johnson faced John Kruk. Johnson threw the first pitch back to the backstop, and then Kruk He waved weakly at 3 straight pitches and was glad to go home still alive.
Yeah, at that moment, John Crook had no pride.
And there is a swing and a miss for John Topolsky, who probably wishes he could have that at bat back one more time.
First action in the Legends bullpen.
That could be a sign he's coming in the game. See how fast he's going at it. Yeah, he's at it pretty good.
Darwin Peguero is the man, number 21 there. Charlie Taylor's number 30, the pitching coach.
Felix Escalona comes to the plate. Escalona got the first hit for the Legends in this game back in the first, and then had a home run in the last inning.
Felix being a defensive specialist, to have the home run, that's bonus. That's gravy on your taters right there. We'll take it all the time.
And Jeff, you mentioned that we won't see the sidearm sweeping curveball from this guy against a right-hander.
No, the righties, that just makes their eyes get bigger when they get a chance to look at it that much earlier. It's behind a lefty, but it's right out in front of you as a right-hander.
1-0 hit sharply to the second baseman, Gan Garrido for one, over to first for the double play. 4-6-3, Gan to Garrido to Santos to end the inning for Hagerstown. It looked good when Whiteman started off with a base hit, but for the first time, Lexington does not score in an inning. It's 13-0, still Legends as we go to the top of the 7th.
Turn again?
Your turn.
But only if I finish my hamburger before.
Oh, man. I think with this atmosphere, feel free to eat, talk. Yeah, what the heck?
On the hill. The girl is coming in. He's the guy that took the hill.
Yep. In fact, he relieved Nick Roberts in that first game. I don't think he can blow this lead, though.
Everybody on the team has been in the game. Every pitcher.
Where am I here? There we go.
So who we got, guys?
Me out to the ball game. Me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks.
I don't care if I ever go back. Root for the Legends. The Legends. If they don't win, it's a shame, but it looks very likely now. John McQuiston back with you with Kenny Rice and Jeff Parrott here as we begin the 7th inning with a new pitcher. Darwin Peguero comes in after Nick Roberts throws 6 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball for the Legends, and they lead at 13-0 here in the top of the 7th.
Peguero's known to have average velocity. He's got a curveball, changeup, throws both the 2 and the 4-seam fastball. They really like him. Anytime you're a lefty, you're going to get a real good look in professional baseball.
Another one of the Dominican players on this roster had 86 strikeouts in 64 innings a couple of years ago. We know he can bring it.
Promptly gives up a walk to Dan Trumbull.
Nick Roberts, what a job he did, huh?
Yeah, 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, as John said, and had 7 strikeouts in that game.
And for the season, that means 11 innings pitched, no runs allowed, and only 7 hits allowed.
That's some pretty good numbers.
Brian Carter, the batter now. He fouls the first pitch away. Strike 1.
Way in his kitchen. Let's see if Peguero here can pitch this lefty the way we've seen the other lefties throw. We will get a look at his breaking ball, I'm thinking. Maybe right here.
Wonder if he drops down. There was the breaking ball, as predicted by Jeff Parrott.
Umpire wasn't looking, I guess. Just miss one every now and then.
Called it a little high, I think. Next pitch down low, 2-1.
It's been a great performance by Roberts tonight. Only Brian Gann back in the 4th inning made it to second base. No Hagerstown son has made it past first except for Brian Gann, who singled, and then on Santos' single, the only back-to-back hits tonight for Hagerstown, was able to finally get to second base. Otherwise, they thought it was a mirage out there, I think, most of the night.
Right, John Buck with a little visit out there, just calm, comfort his pitcher somewhat. Maybe tell him a funny story, maybe tell him to look at somebody in the stands, get his mind off what he's doing. Just for a second, just a break to get his concentration back.
Who was the funniest catcher that you pitched to?
Darren Dalton in Philadelphia was pretty good. He never talked about the game when he came out to the mound. It was always something, what he had to eat or just anything he could to distract me so I wouldn't be worrying about the job I was doing out there.
His wife was on that billboard out there in the outfield, wasn't she?
Yeah, I've seen her before.
Yeah.
We have more action in the Legends bullpen. Santiago Ramirez is warming in there in case Figueroa runs into trouble he can't get out of. But yeah, the catcher's part psychologist. As we get a ground ball going to Whiteman, they'll try for two. They'll throw to first in time for the double play. So the Legends turn their first double play of the night. And what looked like possible trouble for Figueroa is suddenly erased.
Welcome to that pitcher's best friend, isn't it? 6-4-3, beautiful.
All of a sudden, you know, you're out there, you're struggling. Catcher makes you a little visit, gets you a ground ball, 2 outs, nobody on.
Whiteman gets a nice throw over to Escalona, who has plenty of time to make the relay to first.
When we see a guy warming up in the bullpen situation like that, 13-0, it's not to save earned runs with the pitcher because he's struggling so much. I would say most likely he's going to throw 1 inning. This next kid's going to get in, get his chance. There's not a whole lot of time to warm up, so go ahead and start him now.
And with the effectiveness that the Legends have gotten from their starting pitching so far, their relievers haven't had a whole lot of action.
That's right. And this early in the year, you know, they're still trying to define the roles out there. JJ doesn't really know who's going to do what in what situation other than their closer.
Mark Walker, the right fielder. He is struck out, flied out.
I was looking to see about, eventually we will see the miles per hour on the pitch, I believe, on the scoreboard in future games, won't we, Jeff?
Yeah, we will. That's a new thing pretty much in baseball. I've seen it over the last few years. When I played in Philadelphia in '96, Kurt Schilling was there, and they posted it up on the scoreboard. And now Kurt could throw hard, but I tell you what, the ball wouldn't even get to the plate. He'd be checking his velocity up there. But if I threw 97, I might look a little quick too.
Well, I remember in Tampa Bay, there was a pitcher, Wilson Alvarez, who asked the speed not be posted because he was having arm troubles and didn't want people to know how badly he was throwing at the time. Of course, with an ERA over 5 or something like that, it became apparent soon enough anyway. That pitch outside. 2-2 now the count to Mark Walker, the right fielder for the Suns.
The radar guns that they use, there are 2 different guns. There's a fast one and a slow one, the Jugs and the Ray. The difference being one picks up the ball when it leaves the pitcher's hand, the other picks it all the way up to the catcher. It can make a 3 or 4 mile an hour difference.
And a strikeout there. And that ends the inning. Another quick one for the Legends. They lead it 13-0 going to the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, about that. It's moving along pretty good.
12 outs left. Unless they come back.
Is that the score sheet that's going to come up on the screen?
That they were telling us about.
That will be their double play.
Welcome back to Appleby Stadium. The Legends are just clobbering the Hagerstown Suns 13-0 as we move to the bottom of the 7th, and the crowd is not bored yet. It is still here. Most of the capacity crowd of about 7,000 that filled this place up for the Legends home debut is still here and enjoying the thorough thrashing the Legends are putting on the Hagerstown Suns.
And if you enjoy the Legends tonight, they're in town all week, folks. Got games every night this week.
They play Hagerstown again tomorrow, and then the Kannapolis Intimidators, named for Dale Earnhardt. That was his hometown. He had bought an interest in the team, and they renamed the team for him. Brian Schmidt steps in for the Legends. And again, that sidearm sweeping curveball comes in from Rick Malarick, the Suns pitcher. And I guess Legends left-handed batters are going to see lots of that until they prove they can hit it.
Yeah, that's here comes the side one.
Strike on the inside corner. Yeah, that one gets over the plate. See, for a left-handed batter, that has to look like it's coming just about out of the dugout.
You just want to stay in there so bad, and then by the time you get to reaction, it's too late.
That one grounded foul, so 0-2 Schmidt in the hole. 1-2, I beg your pardon.
It's not too bad as a hitter if you can sit there and watch a couple of balls like that, but this guy keeps throwing strikes in there to him, so keeping the pressure on the lefty.
Malarick's coming off the only 1-2-3 inning so far. Legends in the last helped by a double play.
There's some solid contact, but it's right to the second baseman. And Davey Santos throws the guy, or rather Brian Gann throws to Davey Santos for the out. One down here in the bottom of the 7th.
Second baseman took a step back to make that play off of the nice Alabama clay that Brad Redmond was telling us about. Brought all the way in from down there to get the, I guess, no rocks and the nice lay for it. And it looks like he's doing a good job.
Here's the thing that surprised me. This is Kentucky bluegrass on the field, grown in Indiana. I kid you not.
It's one of our major imports.
Yes. Mike Hill, yes. Kentucky is the bluegrass state. It just doesn't grow its own. Mike Hill dribbles one foul, 1-1.
I was impressed at how quickly everything was put together there on the field. We walked the field yesterday. John, you were down there today. A little spongy in places, but I mean, this is a really nice turf that they have to be able to put it down basically in the last week.
Next pitch down and low and inside. 2-1. Yeah, we were here last week to shoot some things for a special we had on Saturday, and there were some divots out there that the sod hadn't quite taken yet. But a good grounds crew can get stuff together quickly, apparently, because they did that here.
Bill Hayes, the Hagerstown coach, was telling us before the game that where they just came from, there was mud showing through the grass in the infield. They laid sand on it and then painted it.
It looked great, I'm sure. It's like what some guys do when they're going bald up top, the spray paint stuff, whatever that stuff is. It sounds like the same thing. 2-2 is the count. There's a ground ball, foul. Hill stays alive.
They had to do that to a telecast once at Woodbine Racetrack up in Toronto because they have a harness track in the middle, and it's limestone base, so it's got a grayish-white look, and that was making the TV cameras blare, so they went out and spray painted the track, put a little light coat of green all over it, so at least it wouldn't bloom out when the cameras passed by covering the race.
And did you notice who's on deck there? Ramon Herman, Mr. 2-home-run dude.
Michael Hill breaks out.
He hits a solid shot in the left center field. He's going for 2, and he'll get there safely with a double. So Mike Hill at second base with one out here on the bottom of the 7th, and the aforementioned Ramon Herman.
Welcome to the party, Mike. Struggled a little bit so far tonight. Gets him a knock.
I got to think when everybody in the lineup except you is just roping the ball, that's got to make you feel worse than just about anything else.
Particularly as well as Mike Hill was hitting coming into this game. He had a homer and 5 RBI and was batting over 400 after leaving Charleston.
And we see how much more effective Rick Malarick has been against the Legends left-handed batters than he has against the right-handers, as Herman fouls off the first pitch for strike 1.
Herman really steps in the bucket. I mean, he's stepping away from the pitcher, getting his hips cleared, but his arms are big and strong enough he can reach the plate, and boy, that quickness just carries the ball.
There's a pitch down and low. Mentioned the home run. He's got 2.
Starts in an open stance. Watch, he steps away. Look how open his hips are, his shoulders, everything. He can see where the ball is going on contact.
That was his second one. The first one, I believe, left the building, if not the entire city.
That open stance has become increasingly popular in baseball. Most of the time, the guys will take the front foot from an open stance and step towards the plate. It's kind of an encouragement for them to keep themselves closed. Ramon doesn't. He just lets her fly. Seems to be pretty effective.
It seems to be working so far. You wonder as he moves up the ranks if he'll need to adjust on that, but that's part of the learning curve you go through as a minor league player.
But you know, he's got long arms. His back foot is right up on the plate, so he looks like he's got good plate coverage even if he does step in the bucket.
And you mentioned the very quick swing, short, compact swing. That's got to help, too, because you have more time to react before you swing. As he takes a ball inside, 3-1. Not shocked to see that they pitched to him carefully.
They tell me that's the most important part of getting the ball to carry a long way is bat speed. It's not power and the weight of the bat. It's being able to get it through the zone quickly.
Well, with the exception of some guys, obviously, like Mark McGwire, Harmon Killebrew, some bruisers over the years. If you look at even Mays, Mantle, Aaron, they're not those big bruising type guys that were great home run hitters, because particularly in Hank Aaron's case, he had these incredibly fast, quick wrists that was able to turn on the ball so well.
So the sign of respect for Herman is that they go ahead and just give him the walk. So 2 men on, first and second, with 1 out here in the 7th inning.
That's kind of a strange thing at 13-0, but my goodness, seems like you could bounce a couple up there. You know, the old 49-footer. He's not going to hit that one. Maybe on the first hop.
I don't see the sense in that either. Michael Rosamond now the batter, the center fielder for the Legends. Takes a curveball for a strike, or as the umpire says.
I had a manager come out to the mound one time with an open base at first, and he said, "Now look, don't give this guy anything to hit, but don't walk him." I said, "If I was that good, I wouldn't be in this situation." Gee whiz, so I walked him.
Yeah, that showed him.
Another curveball, this one outside to Rosamond, who's had a pretty good night, as you saw a moment ago.
It's only one base at a time on a base on ball.
Don't give him anything to hit, but don't walk him.
Sounds challenging.
Yes. See Hill stepping off at second base. Rosamond takes a ball, 2-1 to count to him. Hill's at second, Herman is at first.
Jeff would probably agree with what the great Yogi Berra said, that 90% of this game is half mental.
There you go.
At least.
There's a big swing and a miss and another slow curve.
It's just amazing what positive thinking will do for you out there. I mean, there was times when I'd go out there and I really felt comfortable that if I even gave up a base hit, he's not going anywhere. And other times I'm like, "Oh, don't throw it there."
Yeah.
Please don't call that pitch again.
It is amazing. We talked about how talented all these guys are, and it seems that the guys, whether it's confidence or just ability to concentrate or whatever it might be, that it seems to be the difference between these guys and major leaguers is experience and something in the brains. And the paycheck.
You hear about the zone that athletes go in. Most of us probably go into zones at one time or another. Things are going good in our life. We're feeling good about the way things are at work, and certainly it happens to the athletes when everything is going in their groove. It just seems to keep
Michael
going.
Rosamond goes down swinging. We go now to Greg Stottlemyre in the stands.
Well, what would be the best seat in the house at Legends Ballpark? My idea would be front row, right behind the dugout, 7th inning stretch even. Alan DeSantis and the family, how do you like it?
Oh, this is wonderful. It's just what Lexington needed.
Introduce me to the family.
Well, this is my son, James, and this is our first baseball game. And so, of course, we're keeping the lineage of a father and son and daughter and mom going. And so we have season tickets, so we'll be at, hopefully, just about every game we can make and rooting on the Legends.
Yeah, you know, when you go on vacation, you can send me a couple of your tickets if you sit here every night.
We got that.
All right. Scamming some tickets on the front row behind the Legends dugout as the game goes on and we go back up to the booth.
And John Buck has hit one deep to left field. And that'll go for a single that drives in a run. Wasn't that deep. It was effective. Herman there at second base. John Buck strokes a base hit to drive in a run. 14 now.
Nice RBI, big strong guy, cocks the bat. Look at that extension out in front of the plate. Pretty swing.
He batted .280 last year. Played at Michigan. The Astros have a single-A team in Battle Creek, Michigan, the Michigan Battle Cats. Several of the Legends players played on that team, including John Buck. So he's got a year of experience in single-A baseball already.
6 of the Legends now in the lineup tonight have driven in at least 1 run.
And we'll see again the right-handers doing very well against Rick Malarick. It's the left-handers who've struggled, although Rosamond was a right-hander who struck out. There's her. And there you go. You're waiting for something to happen. You just camp out there on the base and chew on your necklace.
Well, guys, like I mentioned before, the catcher getting a base hit, an RBI, a little bonus for the team, a little happiness for him.
Stand by and steady with that.
And yet another pitcher for Hagerstown. Chris Jones becoming the 4th Hagerstown son to step to the rubber tonight here at Legends Field.
I would imagine at some point one of the Suns pitchers is just going to have to take it on the chin and throw some innings, because you don't want to burn out your bullpen in a game you're getting drilled in anyhow.
Chris Jones features fastball, curveball, and changeup. He was a sandwich pick, which basically I believe is a compensatory pick for a free agent that was signed.
That is exactly it. And speaking, Jeff, of sandwiches, you know how many hot dogs are going to sell here this year, roughly?
I think they've sold out for tonight. So
280,000, they're guessing, the guesstimate, before this season ends in September. I think our crew alone contributed to about 1,000 tonight. So we're trying our best to get to that 280 mark, fans.
As quickly as they can. I understand that a lot of the food items at the concession stands have run out, so the capacity crowd has filled its capacity in its stomach as well.
I believe end to end that would stretch to Cincinnati. Puts us a lot closer to the big league than we thought here.
Jesse Joyce is the first batter for the Legends against Chris Jones, and he takes a pitch inside for ball 1. And all the Suns pitchers tonight, as we see Joyce, who hit a home run earlier in the game, the Legends first here at Applebee's Stadium. As it's now being called, we were informed shortly before game time as Joyce takes a strike.
I wouldn't be surprised, John, if they don't have the sign put up by now. They've probably been working out front, putting a sign up somewhere. I keep looking to see.
You know, the day that Hal Mummy resigned under pressure as UK's football coach, within hours of that announcement, the sign Hal Mummy Pass along Cooper Drive in Lexington had been removed. So, yes, people are quick with signs around here, whether it's putting them up or taking them down.
Well, they do have 2 Applebee banners hanging from each foul pole down each line.
Oh, I see them now, yes.
They just popped those things up during the game, I believe.
There's a shot of that so you can see it too. I don't think that's a home run if you hit the banner, though. You got to hit the pole. Meanwhile, there's a baseball game going on that we're only barely paying attention to. 1 and 2 is the 2 and 2 the count on Jesse Joyce.
Jesse Joyce right here with an opportunity to work on part of the mental part of his game. He's got success in the game so far, but you never want to let an at-bat slip away, especially when you're a limited utility player. And to be able to keep that concentration and that effort level all the way through it will show in the numbers at the end of the year.
Good concentration by Jose Sarita, the catcher, as well, to go up and get that. You know, this guy's he hasn't even played that long. He came in for Lunsford a couple of innings ago, but he's got to be worn out already.
He's kind of an Inspector Gadget arm there, wasn't it? Way across the body.
Some guys can get hurt doing that, reaching up, straining something. There's another pitch upstairs, not quite as far, but ball 4 nonetheless as Jesse Joyce gets the free pass.
You can tell when a man is married with children, because I don't know anyone that's seen Inspector Gadget.
Are you seeing any Barney tunes for you, Kenny?
Shortstop Thomas Whiteman now, the batter for the Legends. We get a nice wide shot of the stadium there for a moment. People were telling me, oh, this is great. I said, wait till you see it at night. It really is a gem of a ballpark.
When I came here tonight working this game, 3 kids at home, Kyla, Logan, and Alyssa. Can't wait to get them out here and watch this ball game.
Can't wait to see Logan Parrott on the mound himself someday. Be a chip off the old block, I believe.
Yep, that's the easy way to the big leagues, get in the mound. But he kind of likes playing the positions there, too. I always like to hit, and then I watch myself on videotape a few times. And
pitching sounded a lot better.
Oh, man.
We were talking earlier about the salaries these guys make, $23,000 to $28,000 a year. That's even more than you used to make when you started up.
That amazed me. When we first signed, made $600 a month. And, you know, that was for a 6-month season. And shoot, it hasn't been that long ago, but I lived pretty high off the hog. It started in Paintsville, Kentucky. 4 of us shared a trailer on Highway 40. And that was a lot of fun.
That's when they were affiliated with the Brewers.
That's right.
Swing and a miss there.
But relatively speaking, guys, I mean, when I was 21 years old, it would have been great to make 25 or 28 grand a year. It's not bad, considering their age.
Ooh, nice.
He was nowhere near that one. This guy's got kind of a herky-jerky delivery. A lot of arms and elbows, long and lanky. I wonder if it's harder for the guys to pick up the baseball.
For being that big of a guy, he's kind of short arms the ball up there a little bit, but maybe it helps his breaking ball.
It's not exactly like him, but reminds me a little bit of Sid Fernandez, the left-hander, played most of his career with the New York Mets. He had kind of a short arm delivery, and although he didn't have blazing speed on his fastball, it was awfully hard for guys to pick up the ball when it was coming from him.
I got the hit off Sid one time, as a matter of fact. He throws 85 miles an hour right by you, and that's slow.
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah, because it's hard for you to see the release point, hard for you to pick up the baseball.
You waited him out.
Yeah, I did make contact right over the first base dugout one time.
Full count, walks him. And guess what? That walks in another run. 15-0 now.
Can't keep Ramon Herman off home plate tonight. There he goes again.
3 times.
He has now scored 4 times in this game. Ramon Herman with a sac fly to bring in a run back in the first. Walked and scored in the third, and then back-to-back homers in the 4th, 5th inning, and walked and scored again, Jeff.
And that pitch was not even close to the strike zone. Back to the top of the order, John Topolsky, the left fielder. Takes a strike.
As a pitcher in this situation, you've got to stay aggressive. You can't take a chance on walking somebody with your 2nd or 3rd pitch. And you just got to keep throwing your fastballs in there, and that's not your favorite thing.
And at this point, what's the damage? I mean, what's the difference between 13-0 and 16-0 or whatever it might be? Go ahead and pitch to the guy.
5 earned runs in one game is a half a point on your ERA as a reliever for the season.
There's Sarita again doing a nice job to keep that one from going to the backstop and maybe bringing another run in.
You get another panoramic view of the stadium.
There's the pitch. Way outside.
Well outside, yeah.
That's his curveball he keeps throwing. I believe he's missing like that so badly. It was a nice pickup by the catcher, though.
Yeah, Sarita's doing a lot of work, but comes back with the fastball up in a way that Topolsky chases and misses. Base is still loaded for the Legends. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And yes, that is not a misprint if you just turned it on. The Legends lead 15-0.
This man came into tonight, Topolsky, leading the Sally League with 9 RBI. He has yet to get a hit, one of the few Legends who hasn't recorded a hit so far.
Well, we see how a leadoff hitter can have so many RBIs. There's a bouncing ball going through, but stabbed there by the second baseman and flipped to the shortstop for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Legends go down, but not before they add 2 more runs to increase their lead to 15-0 as we've played 7 innings here at Appleby Stadium.
What's this Birds fan thing supposed to be? Got a new pitcher. New pitcher.
Ramirez?
Yep.
Santiago Ramirez.
Santiago Ramirez.
Getting set for the top of the 8th inning here. Legends and the Hagerstown Suns. Oh, he goes down. He goes down hard. Call the medic. I think we can save him, though. We can rebuild him. We can make him better than he was. And we can dance. Getting set for the top of the 8th inning. It's a night for dancing here at Applebee's Stadium. The Legends lead it 15-0 over the Hagerstown Suns in their home debut. The Legends have a new pitcher, Santiago Ramirez. That's not him. That's not him. He'll be on the mound pitching for the Legends. There he is, the right-hander.
Another one of the Dominican players on this team, Jeff, and a couple of years ago he was the top reliever in the Appalachian League, led them with 17 saves.
That's right, Rollade's Relief Man of the Year in the Appalachian League. Put a few of those on your resume, it looks pretty good. This pitcher's a guy after my own heart. He rears back and lets it fly. He's got an explosive fastball. Charlie Taylor says they're working to get rid of his slider. He got him going with the curveball now, so he's kind of a project out there.
And Jose Cerda, the backup catcher who came in for Trey Lumser.
Ramirez signed as a 16-year-old free agent out of the Dominican.
And he comes with the fastball high and inside for ball 1.
Jeff, having played in the Dominican League and the Winter League, it is such a way of life. It's very much a part of the fabric of the culture there is to play baseball.
One of the most impressive things I ever saw was to see kids playing in practically a gravel pit with a quart milk jug cut off and folded in half as their glove. And you see these guys out here, a lot of them are middle infielders. La Romano's been a mecca for big league shortstops. And I mean, you know, if you learn how to catch with a milk carton on your hand, you get out on this smooth field with a whole glove. I mean, my goodness, you can pick it.
Yep.
But
it's also a way out in one of the poorest countries in Central America. Strike, 2-2.
It really is. These guys, I'm not saying it's all of them, but some of them, I mean, it's hard to even find food, you know. I mean, you got kids out begging, and not just for themselves, but for their whole family. And when they get a chance to come here nutritionally, their places that they live, it's really a big move for them.
Cerda fouls one back, still 2-2.
I kind of wonder still, though, how they're all just turned 16.
Yeah, well, occasionally you find cases where, oops, they signed this guy too early, and either they lose him or there's some kind of penalty involved. Players have to be 16 years old to be signed to a professional baseball contract, at least by the major leagues.
There he was working on his curveball. Kind of got under that one a little bit. 2-2. Buck asked him to shake it off like he's going to fake him. Here comes the heater. Oh,
that one blazed in there.
I watched him throw in the bullpen in their first practice over at the University of Kentucky. Keith Matters was nice enough to let him use the field, you know, and they went over. It's a really nice place. But when this guy gets the ball up, this ball explodes, it rides up. You're not going to get on top of that one.
Especially if you can get guys to chase it, because it looks so enticing, but by the time you swing at it, it's already by you. There's another one, fouled away. Angel Chavez, the third baseman, now batting.
Ramirez is 1-0, picking up one of those victories over in Charleston.
Great. Swings, no hits, no walks.
Big sweeping curveball, just a little bit low.
Had him set up nice, too. You could see the hitter anticipate the fastball on the first pitch, start early. The only real problem with a curveball, it's the least likely pitch to be called a strike. It's the hardest one to get called. I think it's 38%. And I believe it's because of the angle and the umpire's eyes. It's such a fine line to get it in there.
Well, not only that, you see where the catcher caught that when it was down in the dirt when he caught it, but when across the plate, it might have been through the strike zone. But it's awfully hard to judge that sometimes.
That was the call by perception. He can't call that if it looks like it's that far out of the zone.
Another curveball there.
Could have called that one, though.
We've seen pitches that far wide called strikes.
What do they say? Kick your dog.
2-2 the count. One out here in the top of the 8th.
Okay.
Strike 3 call.
I really don't see why he needs a curveball.
So, no, not if you got gas like that.
Wow.
At least for now.
That's 9 strikeouts by Legends pitchers. Peguero had 1. Ramirez picks up his first one. And then, of course, the starting pitcher tonight, Roberts, has 7.
Call that paint right there, right on the outside corner.
Well, not only that, after a couple of slow curveballs, that pitch might be 90 miles an hour. It's got to look like it's 160.
And then the one up and in. That doesn't make your heart any stronger.
No, Thomas Garrido takes that one.
Looking for a walk at this point.
Yeah. Good news is ball one. Bad news is he thinks he's going to die on the next pitch. You see how he bailed out on that one? I don't know if we'll get to see it again, but he was just about to fall over into the third base side. He was bailing and swinging at the same time, which of course is what the pitcher wants. 0-2. Fastball just outside. I almost said strike.
Bill Hayes, the manager, is talking about how slick this kid fields before the game. He said he really thought he had as far as the tools to really go up high in the minor league system there with the Giants because of his glove ability.
And this one's popped up. John Buck pointing it out. It's going to be short right field. Going to be taken by the right fielder Mike Hill as he calls off Felix Escalona to retire the side. Again, it's another shutout inning for the Legends. They lead it 15-0 in the middle of the 8th inning.
Official attendance. 8037. Wow.
8?
Wow. 5 seconds. 8,037.
On a warm, humid spring night, we see the weather vane here at Applebee's Stadium, just named before the game. We've been talking about these 7,000 people at the game tonight. We were off a little bit, just a tad. They crammed in 8,037 people into Applebee's Stadium for the first game in Lexington Legends history here in Lexington. And the Legends come to bat leading 15-0 here. And Felix Escalona, the Legends second baseman, steps in. And he first pitch swinging, line drive, left center field.
Got in on his hands a little bit.
Going to be caught for out number 1.
Jammed him for a routine fly, but he's got a homer in the game.
Who doesn't on this team?
Yes.
Well, actually, Topolsky doesn't, and Schmidt doesn't. Hill doesn't. But who does? Hermon has a couple of them. Escalona has a home run. Joyce has a home run.
Beg your pardon. Brian Schmidt now batting. Topolsky and Schmidt both left-handers, and the Suns have thrown some left-handed pitchers out there against them that seems to have been effective in slowing those guys down.
8 of the 9 guys tonight for the Legends have scored at least 1 run, and Schmidt here has scored 2 on the night, John.
Takes a pitch inside. Ball 1.
You would have a tendency to think maybe the field's a bandbox the way the ball jumps out of here, but that would be for both teams if it actually
was. Well, you know, it's funny. Watching batting practice, very few balls were leaving. Obviously, the batting practice pitches are slower coming in, so they're slower to go out. But it looked like the park might hold things. Schmidt draws a walk to lead off here the top of the 8th inning, or the bottom of the 8th inning for the Legends.
You know, not to mention the fact that these guys have a limited number of bats that are available to them. You know, when they break one, they're going through their good stuff. So a slight crack in a bat will be used as a batting practice bat. They'll tape it up and go out there, and I don't care if it makes a funny sound. They'll keep swinging it, save their good ones.
Long night in the Hagerstown Suns dugout. Mike Hill, the right fielder, steps in. And he immediately swings, hits one to second base. It could be a double play. And it is, much to the chagrin of the crowd here, but that ends the 8th inning. Legends go down without scoring. Only the second time this game the Legends have failed to score in an inning, but they still lead it 15-0 going to the 9th.
About 7 till 10. Great. And welcome back to opening night for Lexington Pro Baseball. It has been a beautiful evening and a perfect setup for the home team, the Lexington Legends. Out to a big lead early. They continue to build on it, and they lead 15-0 over Hagerstown as we get ready to wrap it up here in the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, the Suns basically have to score 15, not basically, they have to score 15 runs in this inning or else the game is over.
Ramirez came on in the last inning to record a couple of strikeouts for the Legends.
Getting ahead of this guy right away.
This is Jason Ellison, like most of the Suns. Not a great night, although he did have one of the 4 hits. That's a little dribbler and a hard play for Herman, but he gets him.
Nice play by Schmidt at first base. That's hard. You got a runner bearing down on you. You're going across the base and actually making the catch in foul territory. Nice grab by Schmidt and a nice scoop by Herman.
Herman showing us more tools in this game. Coming in, an off-balance throw, get your feet set. It's all about footwork, getting a good release. They say he's got a strong arm. We saw a nice example there.
Yeah, I would say he's had a pretty decent night, wouldn't you? A couple of homers, scored 4 runs, made a couple of nice defensive plays. Next man up is Brian Gann. Gann is struck out. He did get a base hit and then grounded out. And that's pretty much been the way it's read all the way across for Hagerstown tonight. Only one time in this game, and that was back in the 4th inning. And this is the man who did it. Brian Gann, has Hagerstown had a runner reach second base. Great pitching tonight from Roberts, Pagero, and now Ramirez to wrap it up. That got away from him.
Welcome to the game.
Going to mention only 4 hits allowed, and then, well, there's a hit there, sort of.
But you notice right there the way the guy, even though the pitcher's throwing so hard, he's able to get his back turned.
Here's another
there
look
he
at
goes.
this.
Watch his reaction right here. He tucks the shoulder and takes it in the back. Oh, that's the nice place to take it.
You're watching, and then all of a sudden you see, oops, and I can't get out of the way.
You have a tendency to want to open up on that. Don't do it.
Man on for Davey Santos.
The bruise on the back heals a lot quicker than one on the sternum.
Yeah, I bet it does.
You young people like a copy of Jeff Parrott's baseball sayings. You can write to us. John McQuiston will be sure to pass them along.
There you go.
But the great thing is, Jeff tells it like it really is out there.
No, Jeff, your insights tonight have been very helpful.
I mean, you know, that's the way these guys, that's the way they really talk, ain't it, pal?
You know, something we haven't been able to talk about much tonight. When you do get into a situation like that, maybe a beanball war, some paybacks, those things happen in the game. You got to protect your players. minor leagues has a rule you're not allowed to leave the dugout. If you do, it's an automatic suspension. I think they're trying to get that to move on up to the big league level someday because they really don't like to see their millionaires out there fighting.
Well, D.B. Santos swinging and missing, the third strikeout in 2 innings for Ramirez as he fires it in to Dan Trumbull.
And this could be it.
Just when you get a little tired there, you hear the crack of that mitt. Ramirez is still bringing it. 2 men out here in the top of the 9th. Trumbull with a base hit up the middle.
Santiago will get a chance to throw a few more. But you know what? With a strong fastball like that, he keeps throwing strikes. Might be a place for him in a bullpen someday.
And for only the second time in this game, Hagerstown has 2 men aboard with 2 out here in the top of the 9th. The game that has belonged totally to the Legends. At the plate and on the mound, and coming to the plate is Brian Carter. Strikeout victim, flied out and hit into a double play his last time at the plate. Legends fans want to get this over with. There's a ground ball. Whiteman can't come up with it. Goes into the outfield, and here comes a run in. Hagerstown gets their first run of the game. Brian Gann in after the error was committed.
Right through his legs. I think he was anticipating a short hop that he didn't get.
Yeah, he kind of brought his chin up, bounced a couple of times, the ball snuck under his glove. That's not the place you want it to sneak under.
No, and I don't know if he was just thinking ahead, trying to turn the double play too quickly.
I think he was thinking, wonder if we'll go eat after the game with all the guys.
He's thinking, hey, Fazoli's closes at 10 o'clock.
There's another chance. There it is for Whiteman. Baseman Escalona. And Walker hits into the 6-4 to end the game. The Lexington Legends begin pro baseball on a strong note here in town, winning it 15-1 over the Hagerstown Sun. Welcome to pro baseball, Lexington Legends, winners now of 4 in a row. Stay with us. We'll be back to take a look at some of the outstanding plays and players of this game as the Legends win their home opener 15-1. You know, you can make the case for the way he pitched that he never allowed him in it. So, okay.
Did I participate in that?
Yeah. And Escalona's spot. Okay. Okay. Jesse Joyce home run, the bottom of the second.
Who had the first hit?
I said Jesse. Felix Escalona.
Was that the bunt?
I guess we're going to show the Legends. Yeah. Okay. Then Joyce with the.
Welcome back. The debut of the Lexington Legends in Lexington is a smashing success. They defeat the Hagerstown Suns. Defeat is putting it mildly. 15-1, the Legends win. The crowd of more than 8,000 people goes home happy as they watch the Legends under a nice, warm, summer-like night, something you'll see throughout this summer, come up with the big victory. We've got some of the highlights of the game, including some of the historic firsts, if you will, of Legends plays in Lexington.
The first hit of the game, certainly not an indicator of what was to come. It happened in the bottom of the first, and Felix Escalona lays down a perfect bunt.
Start with baby steps and go on from there, and that's certainly what the Legends did. Jesse Joyce with this blast to left field, the first home run hit by a Legends player here in this park, Applebee's Stadium. And there was a lot of that as they pounded out 15 runs on only 14 hits, so they took advantage of walks and 4 errors on the part of the Hagerstown Suns. Here's a double play. Thomas Whiteman, Felix Escalona, and Brian Schmidt catching the ball to complete the play. And again, the Legends had it working for them. Pitching, they had hitting, they had fielding. And among all the stars, we've got to pick one out as the player of the game. So we're going to take a break to think about that. We'll be right back here to Appleby Stadium in a moment.
Do we have the final line on Herman?
Okay.
You guys have the script for that 10 o'clock?
Hold on a moment. I think I got one.
And what did he win for that?
How many RBI does he have? Thank you.
Right. Okay, I got it. Okay. Are we going to show Ramon Herman doing anything? We are.
No, we don't have that copyright.
I got it. I've got it.
Good job.
Believe it? It's almost over.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Almost over for you. I got to run back to the station. I got a show to do. Hope I can beat the traffic out of here.
Nobody's leaving.
They haven't rushed out. I mean, it was that was about as impressive.
Oh, that's right. There is a fireworks show coming up.
3 RBI?
I told you before, I think he only had 3.
No, I think he had. Oh, no, I just had a stat question here. I think he had 4. He had a sac fly in the first, right?
That's right.
Solo homer and a 2-run homer in the 5th?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I thought I just want to double check. Thank you.
Sac fly. Wow.
That's baseball talk.
Thanks. You put out a manual with that, or you just kind of...
Why, did I give you a hard time?
I don't care.
Stand by.
Welcome again to Appleby Stadium, where much of the crowd is still here, awaiting a fireworks show that's upcoming. Of course, there were plenty of fireworks for the Legends. There were many stars, but among them, we had to pick one, and it was Ramon Herman, the Legends' third baseman. He made a nice defensive play, but that's not why he got picked.
He had 2 home runs tonight, including a 2-run shot. He had a sacrifice fly, and Jeff, in a night where everyone was contributing to the offense, this man probably did the most with those 2 homer and 4 RBI.
That's an example of being able to maybe even carry a team on your back, what he did tonight. Getting good swings, he got some good pitches. Here he is. The guy steps in the bucket a little bit, his hands are compact, gets it out in front. Look at that extension. His size indicates power.
And that was his second home run. This one, well, this was the more measly of the 2 efforts because the first one pretty much left the building. This one only went into the seats. The earlier one had, I'm not sure it's landed yet. It might still be floating somewhere in low orbit there, doing a better job than the mirror. But Ramon Herman, and we had so many stars in this game. I want to mention Nick Roberts, the starting pitcher.
He would have to be like honorable mention for sure.
7 innings of shutout baseball, allowing only 4 hits. The relief corps, no hits allowed, so they finished with a 4-hit shutout through the Legends, and they win commandingly 15-1 tonight.
And as one of the real tough relievers in his major league career, he came in and got him out of a lot of jams. I know you can appreciate what the pitching staff did here tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, that was great. 15 runs on the board for